go.
That's the first thing they heard, Twan. That was the first thing they heard. But hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Game Drain. With me, Matt, I've got Mike, I've got Twan, I've got Ham. How are you guys doing? We're going to start with you, Twan. How you doing, bud?
Oh, what? We'll start with me.
Yes.
Hey, it's been pretty good right now. Just pretty much been playing COD, honestly. Like, the little time that I do have, it's just COD, just playing the beta. I'm having a blast. I decided, I'm having this much fun on the beta. I was like, screw it. So I just pre-ordered it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm even the campaign. I think the campaign might even be good on this one because it's just got Makarov, and that's such a good villain. So I know he is a fan favorite in the series, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, having a blast with Modern Warfare 3. Mike, what have you been up to?
All right, if I go first, Matt, or go next.
Yeah.
I'll say.
All right. So basically, I've just been playing also Call of Duty. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Makes me want to rip my skull out of my own head, but from time to time, that's just Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of games
game.
where I'm put in like very late in it, and I'm like, okay, please stop doing that. But it is what it is. But yeah, I'm having a ton of fun. It's a lot of fun. I don't care if it's nostalgia. I really don't care. I'm having fun with a Call of Duty game. Like I don't fucking care. The amount of boomer shooter games I buy, like that are just like essentially like Doom, which is fine. That's not a bad thing. But
it is.
It's like it's like I just want to have something fun to play, and it's definitely just something fun to play.
100%.
It is fun.
Other than that, I've been playing Proteus a ton. I've been playing a lot of custom user-made levels, and some of the shit people have made in that game is really impressive. Like things like I didn't even think that could be possible in that engine. Or like gameplay ideas that there's a lot of talented people making maps for that game. And what's wonderful, if you're on console as well, you all get that content because it has a like in-game like what's it called? Not web browser. What's it called? Like map
Store.
finder, like kind of like a store. Yeah, that like it gets all uploaded too. So like if something gets uploaded on PC, it's getting added onto console. So that's what's really great. So I was like, you have so much content to play. It's such a great game. I'm very much looking forward to its DLC. I can't remember the name of it, but it has like an Egyptian vibe going on, and it looks fantastic. It has a grapple hook. I'm excited, as always, for these kinds of games. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. Nothing much outside of that. It's really just work, playing video games, sleeping, eating, sleeping. Yep.
Taking a shit.
Breathing.
Yeah, taking a shit, breathing, crying, loathing.
Brushing your teeth.
Yep. If I remember, just kidding. But yeah, that's it, Matt. What about you? What about you?
So I've played an obsessive amount of Forza, which I didn't expect.
I still need to play that actually.
Because I actually have some things about the game.
But I mean, I'm playing that like a fiend to the point where it's kind of prevented me from playing as much Starfield as I would like to continue playing. And then on top of that, Call of Duty, the beta. So between those three things, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I started Prototype.
Ooh, how are you liking it? Because I've never.
I saw you play that. That's a great game.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's like kind of silly how good that game is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Venom game that we never got when you really think about it.
Yeah,
like an open world, like sandbox Venom game.
Especially once you get those fucking calls. Good lord. Yeah, that
I
awesome.
because I'm playing that as well on my PS3 right now, and I just got to the point where you get the big blade and you get all the armor and everything. So that's pretty sick. The blade is like the main weapon.
Drop the remastered thing's price because Jesus Christ.
I got those on sale.
Okay.
They'll probably go on Game Pass. I'm sure they'll go on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of dooming about that too. I've been noticing lately by a lot of
A lot of dooming about what?
with the ABK deal. We'll talk about that later, though, of course.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
100%. Oh, we're talking about that for sure.
Ham, are you here?
Yeah.
What have you
Awesome.
Laser.
been? What have you been up to, bud?
I'm just playing Forza, Flight Sim. I just got done playing Starfield just like half hour ago. Uh, I've been playing a lot of different things, man. Been busy
Nice.
playing games.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. I don't know how you're doing that if Xbox doesn't have any games, but I mean, regardless, it's good to hear.
I want to say
So
real quick,
what's up?
if it's all right, just super quick. I'm kind of sad to say that I mean, I'm not like done, but I haven't been playing Starfield much at all the last few days. Not like I'm like necessarily bored with it, but I feel like I experienced what I want to experience, and I haven't done technically like a faction quest line yet, and I have so many side quests left. I just, I'm kind of I feel like I explored what I needed to this time, and then when I'm ready, I'll go back. Maybe I'll start a new game plus, and just get back to exploring. But yeah, I kind of
But you
feel
haven't done any
like
factions yet?
no, I have. There's one I have in Ryusian, and I'd consider the
Or
Crimson
Region?
Fleet.
The Region one's pretty good. Yeah,
I
Region is pretty
consider
good.
the Crimson Fleet one kind of half done. So
Mhm.
there's a lot I still haven't experienced in that game, but I'm very happy with what I played. 170 hours. That's great for someone like me. I've seen a lot of people say too, like, "Oh, after 90 hours, I think I'm done." No, I'm like, you played for 90 hours. That's a lot for a game. Like,
No,
I
no,
don't know.
right?
It's like there's a lot of people saying that's not enough, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think that's plenty of hours. That's probably more than a lot of people put in the game. But I just wanted to say that real quick.
Nice. Oh
What
shit.
now?
Shit.
No, I'm sorry. 1 second. Yeah. So, I mean, we might as well get into the big topic, which is,
100%, yeah.
I mean, jeez, ABK finally acquired. It's over
Holy freaking Luya.
on Friday the 13th of all days
I know.
Yeah, that
to
was
close
funny.
the deal during October. I
Yeah.
mean,
Uh,
it's
Man,
hilarious.
yeah, freaking Microsoft getting Activision, that's some spooky shit right there.
I
Clearly.
Yeah.
mean, yeah, depending on who you ask.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
according to
depending on
some
your point of
people,
view.
like hell is like there's like certain like industry veterans like this is the worst thing that's ever happening to gaming, right? It's like it's actually which is funny because there's a lot of developers that are like I'm so happy right now this is finally happening. And so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. Um but did you guys
Everyone has
see
their own
what
view on
Tom
it.
Warren posted earlier about this?
Today, what do you say?
He said technically the CMA, even though we got like the what is it called, the provisional, what's the word, provisional approval before the official approval, you know what I'm talking about, like a month ago,
Mhm.
where like yeah, a different owner of cloud content is fine. He said technically in July they gave like Microsoft a soft go ahead, but they wanted to for them to complete like finding um like complete like the whole infrastructure of it and how it's going to happen. But apparently, according to him, they actually gave like a more of a private kind of like soft approval of it before the actual soft approval of it. Um, so like back in July, they mentioned a bunch of different studios, like a bunch apparently. And so they're like, yeah, that's great, but we can't obviously say yes, this is fine yet because you haven't told us who yet. But as it stands now, any one of these studios would be or publishers would be fine. So I thought that was pretty interesting when you think about it. Really, in July, this kind of was done, which I think a lot of people felt that way because the Judge Corley, the whole FTC shit ended. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
people probably felt like this was done. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
probably gonna close with or without the CMA at that point. They'd probably have
yeah,
to like close around them or some shit. So then that
Yeah,
probably just would
everybody
make
was
things more
saying they would close
complicated.
over the CM.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Fuck you guys," kind of thing, and just do it over
yeah.
it.
Like everyone's like they
I
wouldn't do
mean, they
that. I'm
would have
like,
had them either way.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like a lot. I've seen people saying they wouldn't have done that. I'm like, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
feel like
yeah.
if
I
if
push
mean,
came to
push
it's
comes to
shove,
shove, yeah, I
yeah.
think they would totally do that.
yeah.
Oh
I
man.
don't see why not. I mean, but in the end, they didn't have to. It got approved.
Yeah,
I mean, it's finally like they legitimately, after what, 2 years
yeah,
of
two
back and
years.
forth. Tom, what's up? Vinny, what's up?
Hey
They
guys.
own ABK,
Oh,
which is just like it's really dumb. I was actually today editing a video for tomorrow, and I redid my intro and everything, and it's just the amount of I couldn't put it all in there, of course, because there's not enough time. But the amount of like different games, because like I was just going through clips of different games to put in my intro and everything, and I'm just like, dude, this is a fucking ton of games.
Yeah.
Like this is a stupid amount of games, and then there's obviously games like I had like a list of like 20, 25 and my DaVinci Resolve, and of course there's way more than that. But it's like it kind of just hit me then. Like it's a really huge list of games.
Yeah.
A
No
lot of
doubt.
which we haven't heard from in a while. But to actually bring up some more info here, we have the official, and I'm gonna bring it up on stream because why not? Let's see. Oh yeah. But it says here on Xbox Wire, welcoming the legendary teams at Activision Blizzard King to Team Xbox. And this is from Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, published October 13th, Friday the 13th, 2023, which is just still, as many times as I say that, it's still fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is, God, let's read this first paragraph. He says, we love gaming, we play games, create games, and know firsthand how much gaming means to all of us as individuals and collectively as a community. And today we officially welcome Activision Blizzard and their teams to Xbox. They are the publishers of some of the most played and most beloved franchises in gaming history across console, PC, and mobile, from Pitfall to Call of Duty, World of Warcraft to Overwatch, Candy Crush Saga to Farm Hero Saga. Their studios have pushed the boundaries of gaming for players around the world. And the graphic they have here, I mean, because they kind of blended, Xbox Studios with Activision Blizzard, and it's just, I mean, for me personally, and I know it's probably the same for you, Mike, to see Elder Scrolls next to Halo, next to Starfield, next to Call of Duty, next to Doom, next to Fallout, next to Diablo.
it's just crazy.
It's
That
it's,
is fucking
it's,
insane.
it's silly. It is
It's
silly.
crazy to think.
It's
Crazy to
is
think
so-
that. But yeah, it's crazy to think that Xbox owns Doom, Halo, and Call of Duty. It's just crazy to think
Yes.
that they own those.
It's-
Could you
it's
imagine if they
actually
bought
crazy.
EA and they would actually? Could you imagine if they bought EA and they
Oh,
owned
dude, if they
Battlefield as well? They literally own everyone. Like it's
If-
like
Dude, Phil Spencer
Dude,
would
like-
be a public enemy number one if he even thought about calling up EA. For Activision. He'd be
Dude.
like,
But even then, like, does he really even need to do that? Because EA plays.
I don't want to either way.
no, he doesn't.
I
He
don't
doesn't
want-
need to. Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't
Yeah.
need to do that
EA
because
plays on Game Pass.
they're already like very close in terms of like their relationship. So I don't think it's necessary, and I don't really want that. I mean,
Yeah,
in the long run,
it's too much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's too much at that point. But I mean, I'm gonna pass it off to you guys. I mean, because Ham, I was up with you a while in the party, and then I went to bed like an hour before it actually got approved from the CMA, and then a few hours after that, it came out that Microsoft put it on their website, Xbox put it on their Twitter account, like the deal's through, we own them now. So what were your initial thoughts? I mean, were you up the whole night waiting for that?
Yeah, you're talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kicking it with K Mega in the party chat. So me and him witnessed it together. It was pretty nuts.
I can imagine.
Yeah, when I seen it, my jaw just kind of dropped, and I was just like, man, it's really it.
Yeah, it's over.
Finally. And I mean, to be honest, it was kind of like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 kind of countdown of how long until I see a meltdown on Twitter, and it was just seconds. It took seconds. And and it was just like that. And it was just like that for the rest of the week.
It's
Or,
dude. It's
I mean,
it's,
man, it's only been a couple
Oh, like
days. It
that.
feels like a
Like
week.
that.
yeah, right.
Yep, just a couple
Dude,
days.
Yeah.
can I just say real quick how fucking hysterical it is that people had CMA fan, CMA employee in their like Twitter bio or username because they thought like, you know, the CMA was just gonna block it again. And
Yeah.
well, they didn't. And I just thought that just makes me so happy because it was just such a petty thing to do that the
Yeah.
fact that it kind of got a little bit of a smack, you know, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
People are like, CMA, how can you betrayed us? You know, it's
Yeah.
like you would have.
Well, there's a lot of that online, and yeah, like Cam said, that it's. I haven't been on Twitter. I mean, yesterday especially, I was not on Twitter, but from what I saw today, from what I saw Friday, it's just. I mean, people are not handling it well,
No.
No, not
to
at all.
to say the
Not at all.
least, which is
No, I had somebody
unfortunate.
block me for being happy about it. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and is that the dude who
Oh,
blocked
yeah.
you because you said Phil Spencer saved Xbox?
Yeah, he blocked me for saying that, and then he unblocked me to tell me that he blocked me. And then he was like, you know that. Then he's like, you know that interview you did. You should just delete that. Like he DM'd me to tell me that, and I'm just like, dude, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
That's
You know,
funny.
oh man.
Like
That's,
I don't know. That's a level of cope that I didn't anticipate.
Yeah. That's
That's,
hysterical. Leave that.
that's-
You know what? You still have it up, right?
Yeah, I still have it up.
Good. You should just
Good.
post it.
I'm about to say, yeah, you should post it.
Oh,
Just
God.
pay YouTube to boost it in the algorithm.
What a psychopath, dude. God damn.
That's one of those things, and I mean, even Loke said that he came to like a realization about one of his followers while we were on the show, and it's just one of those things. I can imagine a lot of people, which is unfortunate, and it shouldn't be the case, that a lot of people or a good amount of people have an experience like that with somebody that they were following or they were cool with, and then this happens, and now all of a sudden you're suddenly not cool with each other. And then this
They
guy's
take it
like,
as serious as like anything. Like
yeah, they take it too
opinion.
serious.
Yeah.
And then this guy's
Mhm.
blocking you because you said Phil Spencer saved Xbox, which is a factual statement, by the way.
It
which
is objectively.
It's like not
I
even
mean,
a debate.
yeah, like when he took over Xbox, that thing was a sinking ship. You know,
Yeah.
when he took over Xbox.
Man, I would say that thing was a fucking life raft at that point. Or it was getting to that point, I should say.
yeah.
I mean, it was basically that. I mean, they had 5 studios and they just closed one. They
Yeah.
killed Lionhead.
Yeah.
So like they had like nothing going for them really outside of this massive hype for Halo 5 with the marketing that was incredible, and then it hit and it was like Jesus.
Like a wet fart.
Yeah, and then like, you know, Forza does what Forza does, but like when
Yeah.
you only have Forza for a few years and then Gears comes later and Gears 4 isn't the strongest intro into the series by any means, it was not looking particularly great. So to go from 5 studios on the verge of being
34.
completely, to being almost completely defunct, to now you have Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda. That's one
And
of
all
the
the other
most
studios that
insane
they bought,
turnarounds.
like, yeah. And all the other studios that they got, like In Exile, Obsidian,
Exactly.
they got like Ninja Theory, you know.
Dude, they got studios that I probably don't even know exist at this point. Like I might have forgotten at this point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's huge, and I mean, like, we can all kind of finally just breathe a sigh of relief that, because, dude, for 2 years, the amount of legal jargon, the amount of people on Twitter who were suddenly lawyers,
Yeah, I know.
and it was just,
Everyone thought they were lawyers all of a sudden.
and you had people like tracking Jim Ryan's private plane.
Yup.
I'm like, dude,
Oh
you
my
people
God.
are sick. You
Yep.
people are sick. And
Yeah,
finally,
just get off Twitter and just play some games or some shit.
It cracks me up because
Keep
I want to
yourself
say
busy.
this, Matt. I need to say this because like Matt like tried telling me back in April. He tried telling me back in April, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know. I was a little nervous. I didn't know what to think when the CMA blocked it and the FTC were riling up their shit. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, Mike, this deal's done. He's like, it's going through. Don't even think about it. I'm like, oh, and then I go, here we are. And I'm like, he's like, don't even think
Yeah.
about it. It's going through. I'm like, I don't know, Matt. I'm like, but he's like,
yeah.
if they want it, and it's going through. Well,
Yeah,
that's fair.
Microsoft, there's just no way that Microsoft was going to allow this to be like
Yeah.
whether it was like in good faith or they had to do some stuff behind the scenes to pull some
It was gonna
strings.
get done.
This
Yeah, it was
was
gonna get
not
done.
going to be denied. This just wasn't going. It might have taken a while,
Yeah.
but it was not going to be denied. There's just no way. Because then that's if it does, then that's like a massive black eye for Xbox,
Yep.
and that's just not something that Microsoft wants or needs. So it wasn't going to happen like that. Although I
Yeah, they
mean,
would have lost $3 billion for nothing.
yeah, they would have lost that money. And I will say, to be fair, it's not like the whole time I was like hyper confident that it would. It was just one of
Yeah.
those things. I kept telling myself, "There's no way that it doesn't." Even
Yeah.
though, a few
Yeah.
times, like in April, like when I was talking to you, the news would suggest otherwise.
Yeah.
But like in the back of your head, you're just like, no, there's just no way that this is getting blocked. It's just not going to happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, actually need to be right back real quick. But I'm gonna pass it off to you guys. I'm gonna have my headphones on so I can still hear
Okay.
you. But let me know your thoughts, your initial thoughts from when the deal went through on Friday.
So mind if I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
I was waiting for you to say it, Twan, because you went away. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like my hype for the entire acquisition has definitely not been as high as it was at the first, like at the start of it all. I was like, cool, let's go. This is kind of dope. I'm so happy it's done. Like, it's gonna benefit me one way or another. Um, but like, it was kind of when it was done, I was just kind of like, as I remember one time saying, it's about goddamn time. Of when the whole Judge like Corley shit or something, I can't remember what it was. It's about damn time it's done because it's been how long now? Like almost 2 years, was it?
20
Yeah,
months.
it's been 2 years.
20 like
Yeah.
20 months of this.
Yeah.
20 months of having this discussion. We do how many shows a month? Like 3? Like,
Yeah.
how many?
It's a
Have
lot
we
of
talked about
shows.
this? Like 60 times. I don't. I was like, dude,
It's a lot of shows.
like way too many. The ABK drain,
Mhm.
exactly, Mr. Inferno. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
But
The
I was
ABK
happy
drain.
it's done. I'm really interested, though. I will be honest. So I am admittedly kind of interested, though, about certain people that do work in the industry. Like, I'm not even talking about like PlayStation fanboys. I don't give a goddamn rat's at what any fanboy says. To be quite honest with you, they don't really matter. But I've seen a lot of takes by a lot of different people that have been in the industry for a long time that are not concerned about let's say like monopolies or anything like that, but they are concerned about the future well-being of Activision employees and which I kind of got something to say about that, about maybe them potentially also losing jobs and stuff. But I remember one person saying like, "Oh, it could absolutely their working conditions could absolutely like like when it comes to physical safety could absolutely get worse." So I'm like, dude, the only way that can happen is if Phil Spencer is personally greenlighting these horrible atrocities against people. Like
Yeah,
that's the
if he's
only
like encouraging it.
yeah, like that is the only
Yeah.
way he's actively encouraging it because under Activision, the horrible things that were happening to people, Bobby wasn't greenlight, he was just hiding it. He was essentially
Yeah.
hired to
I'm
hide it
scared.
and to like
Yeah.
get people to shut up. But like the only way I can imagine it being worse is if they're like get a game out now, or they're actively encouraging that awful behavior. I just
Yeah.
can't see it. You know, and I see some
And-
people saying, "Well, people are gonna get laid off." I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I'm like that is probably gonna happen, but I'm also at the point where I'm thinking like, I don't know if Activision was probably gonna do that themselves soon. I mean, how many people they got working on Call of Duty now? Like
Yeah.
an obscene amount of people. Like I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they genuinely did end up just becoming the Call of Duty, Diablo, Blizzard, IP
Mhm.
juggernaut. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like a hard thing for me to like really say. Like, it's hard to know if it'll be great for everyone in the end. But I like to think that now it's possible eventually. Some of these people that have been making games with Activision forever can make something different from COD. And I'd like to at least now they have an opportunity to. There's a chance to.
Mhm.
But
I would
yeah.
say, and like response to anyone like worried about like, oh, the workers' conditions could get worse. Microsoft just this past year was voted like one of the best places to work, one of the best companies to work for.
Mhm.
Uh, I listen. I haven't done my research, but I don't believe Activision has gotten that reward anytime recently.
No,
Yeah, they
probably the opposite.
yeah, they
Uh,
have literally the opposite. And like about and a lot of still pending lawsuits, by the way.
yes.
Oh yeah.
In
Um
fact, wasn't there like a new lawsuit in this last 20 months?
yeah, like there was I think one that started like almost like 2-3 months ago at this point, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of like I just and it's like I can't be like, oh well, people getting fired is a normal thing that happens. Like, yeah, it's a normal thing that happens after these acquisitions. It sucks. It objectively fucking sucks for the people that don't deserve to be fired. But like I don't know. I can't really tell you if they would have been around much longer with how Activision was going in the first place.
Mhm.
Um, they got really lucky with Diablo 4 for without a doubt. I think Diablo 4 was. I mean, didn't they say they had like at one point like 666 million like active players or something like that? Like combined or something like that,
Probably. Something like
or
that.
like active users, or I can't remember. It's been so long. I don't know. I'm trying not to look so down on it because I understand all these big corporations buying out people are bad. I understand, but like what was happening in Activision was some of the worst things I've ever fucking heard in the whole games industry. When it came to
Mhm.
treating its workers, when it came to pardon me, like publishers or teams within the studios or in the pardon me, I'm terrible within the publisher. That's the one I want to say. Some genuinely awful stuff. And I think, it's kind of okay to at least be a little excited that maybe now they might be treated like people and they can make
Yeah.
different games rather than being the 50th Call of Duty support studio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and like, I think that's okay to be a little excited of it. I'm not really cool with the whole everyone's just like a corporate, like, I'm not really cool with like the whole idea that we're just sucking off a corporation here. Like I will admit there are tons of people on Twitter doing that. Plenty of Xbox fanboys that are absolutely doing that.
100%. Yeah.
But
Yes.
there's also nothing wrong though to being like, hey, I do have something kind of to gain from this acquisition going through, and there are possible other benefits due to it. And there's nothing wrong being like, maybe this could be a good thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like maybe I'm not pessimistic enough about video games like everyone else. I don't really know, which always drives me crazy because it's fucking video games. But yeah,
I
that's my take.
I mean, in response to all that, I just don't have a reason to believe that this is negative. Until Xbox
Mhm.
gives me a reason to believe that all of what they're doing is negative,
Hmm.
at which point then hey, it's negative and we have to acknowledge it, but until that point there's nothing to acknowledge. I mean, you hear from all the studios under Xbox, it's like they're all happier than they've ever been.
Mhm.
I I don't know. We're
Yeah,
finally we're finally starting to get games after the whole slowdown from the pandemic, which fucking ruined everything for a good few
Mhm.
years. But
yeah,
it's like 2023, we're finally starting to see a lot of this stuff pay off,
Mhm.
and it seems like the studios are loving it.
yeah,
Mhm.
Seems like and I mean, I don't. And granted, Twitter's Twitter, but like the few Activision Blizzard employees that I do follow, I mean, obviously there's people like Rod Ferguson and stuff like studio heads and whatnot, but like I'm like just regular employees who
Mhm.
aren't studio heads were quite happy when this news was announced. In fact, I know
remember.
there's I feel terrible. I can't remember her name, but a lady who lives not very far from me who works for Activision. Like she's working on Modern Warfare 3. Who was
Oh, that's
ecstatic
cool.
about this? Who was
Yeah, and
ecstatic about this?
do you remember that one person's like when it got announced, the first thing he tweeted while quote retweeting the article is Doom. I want to work on Doom.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
like it's like I know like once again it's selfish gains for me as a massive Doom fanboy, and fan of that genre. But like I saw, and I'm sure there's some people that are very concerned, and reasonably so, reasonably so. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't a reason to be like, okay, how's this gonna go? But I
Yeah.
saw a lot of low level quote unquote employees being like, "Fuck yeah, let's go! I get to do something else now." It's like I get to like
Yeah,
kind of it's like because now they can get shuffled around to different studios. It's not
yeah,
like it's like they might just help out another team, like how it helped out Bethesda with their like motion blur engine crap and start. They can at least do something else,
hmm
and I think that is something that's reasonable to be kind of excited about, like or at least
Yes.
happy about. Um, but I don't know. That's just kind of that's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah.
I've talked up a storm enough. Everyone else go.
Oh, you're all right. Yeah, I pass it off to Twan or him to like kind of acknowledge what we're talking about here. Like, I guess the positives and negatives of an acquisition like this, and what your thoughts are on
hmm
that, on the discussion surrounding it.
Oh yeah, I'll go then. So yeah, obviously when this went through, I was just happy that it was finally over. I was like, holy shit. Just it feels like it's been like 5 years, that this whole thing was going through. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really can't think of a single negative that this thing actually, unless like we said, we're talking about this last show. Unless Phil Spencer all of a sudden, the moment the deal closed, he was like, "Screw it, Call of Duty's exclusive." And
Yeah,
Right.
completely just flip the switch, right, and just say like,
yeah,
Psych.
Call of Duty
he just
sweatshop. Like,
fucking rips all those contracts, cancels Modern Warfare 3 on
yeah,
PlayStation. Just fucking goes,
calls down the server, closes the servers down.
just fucking delist every COD from PlayStation. Just
Oh my
shuts down all
god.
the servers. But
Jeez
yeah,
Louise.
I mean, obviously shit like that's not gonna happen. And yeah, so I mean, obviously PlayStation's still getting Call of Duty. I don't think they ever planned to take away Call of Duty on PlayStation. I just don't think that was the thing they ever planned to do. I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense for for a game of that scale and with the player base. You don't want to just chop down a player base like that.
Yeah.
And
No, definitely not.
yeah. And with the news that potentially Call of Duty is probably gonna all the older Call of Duties are gonna go on Game Pass at some point. That's gonna be great because even if you already own those games, those player bases are gonna go up. I mean I think that's pretty reasonable to think that they would go up once they do get it on Game Pass. So like
Yeah.
Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern War MW2, Black Ops 1, they're all hopefully that's going to make less hacker lobbies. I mean, we could cross our fingers. I know Black Ops 2 is probably the worst when it comes to that. But
Mm.
and what else is there? Yeah, obviously, the fucking studios at Activision are so talented and nobody knows this because they're always doing being support studios for COD. It's hysterical. If you ever look at Steam and you see the developers for like a Call of Duty game, it's literally like every studio that Activision owns.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
It's fucking
It's
wild.
like it doesn't even fit in the description thing. It just like kind of gets cuts off because there's just too many studios that works on a single Call of Duty
It's
game.
like, and it's
Yeah.
just to say real quick, it's like
Yeah.
all over the world too. Not even in
Yeah.
the same country. It's like all over the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, like Shanghai
Yeah.
studio,
Yeah.
like fucking Beanox, fucking. It's
Yeah.
just so bad. Like it's like something needs to be done. Like I don't know. Do you think like Microsoft's actually going to do something about Call of Duty? You think they're going to like take a year off? You think they're going to like?
I
You think that's a possibility?
I think they do because that was the plan. That was supposed to be the plan. Just
Yeah,
under 80K.
yeah,
But for whatever reason, they abandoned that plan. That was supposed to be planned for this year. There was supposed to not be a Call of Duty this
yeah.
year.
Maybe they thought the deal would have closed already, so they just
Yeah.
said that in advance.
So
Yeah.
I would expect that to be the case. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's possible. I think honestly, they might get all the games that are on the docket like out and then
Mhm.
do. I mean, that's possible, but I would personally prefer them to hold off and just polish whatever is coming up. Give them an extra year. Hell, maybe even give them an extra two. Like I think that would be best, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of business as usual for a little while, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
kind of all about just making sure it stays afloat in its current operations. Because like as like we
Mhm.
all know, Activision's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like Activision Blizzard King, like it's huge. I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of even after Bobby Kotick is gone, like if they're kind of just like on coast mode, just kind of continuing what they had planned out. Because just for a little bit, of course, until things are completely smooth. Because like I wouldn't blame them for not wanting to go in there and just be like, okay, no Call of Duty the next like 2 years or next year, and
Yeah.
all right, can't get rid of this project, all right, and then we got to do this, and then it's like I can absolutely see that being way over. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't start seeing a lot of these quote unquote new type Activision games. I mean, this sounds like for another like 8 years,
Hmm?
like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised like of a bigger variety. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 6, 7, 8 years. Like I really
Mhm.
wouldn't be. Um, I'm not saying we're not going to see any,
Yeah. It's
but
good.
because there's
Mhm.
a lot of there's actually like one or two IPs I think that are actually in works over at Activision. Um,
I think one by
so
Blizzard or something.
yeah, one by Blizzard. So like, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if takes a little bit. But I mean, I
Yeah.
once again don't know how much planning is going into this, so
Yeah.
I
Like
can't say for sure.
I'm sure next year we're gonna get whatever Treyarch was working on this whole time,
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's still a plan thing that's gonna go through. But yeah, I mean it's gonna take a while because they have this whole system already set up where where they release a yearly COD, and I don't expect that for them to completely just change that especially right away. So I'm sure they gotta probably ease into it maybe. So who knows what's gonna go
Yeah.
down. But
I would love it if they just said fuck it. Like I would love that though. I would actually
yeah.
genuinely love that.
Yeah, but it would just be it'd just be great to see these studios just work on something else.
Also,
Like
thank you,
especially
Mr.
like Raven
Inferno, for being in the
Software.
chat. Nice seeing you, dude.
But it's
Yeah.
just
Appreciate you stopping by, bud.
yeah. But it's just crazy to think because Raven Software for the past 20 years, they went into they go into their studio, sit down and just work on a map in COD or they make sure all the details on the AK-47 are correct. Just shit like that, right? So just imagine all of a sudden it's like, what, I can make games again?
Yeah.
It's probably crazy. It'd probably be crazy for them. Like, do they even remember how to do it? Like it's like,
Oh man,
it's like,
I'm excited and
Yeah.
nervous at the same time for him because
yeah,
I imagine
it's a
it's
big change, right? Yeah.
it's daunting. And I just want to let you know, Mr. Inferno, as I'm podcasting, I am indeed playing Doom Eternal at the same time. Just letting you know,
No.
because every time I'm playing Doom Eternal, just letting him know. But
That's too bad.
oh, shut your mouth. Anyways, I'm sorry. Ham, what do you think? Man fell asleep. I don't blame him.
You hear him snoring through like the fucking
What do I think
nice.
about what?
Well,
Everything.
well, the original question was the positives and negatives of an acquisition like this. How Mike was talking about like developers or people in the industry, we'll say, concerned about
I'm with Juan. I don't really see a whole lot of negatives about
Yeah.
it. I really don't. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. I feel like anything negative is just seen as like something from somebody that didn't want this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
No,
know.
I
I feel like a lot of people find negatives in that sense of like, oh, this is like tough for the industry, or like, oh, the maybe I don't know, something silly like all the devs can't work on their favorite console anymore. Like I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, but I tell you what, I can't see any of the negatives because I'm too busy thinking about my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is way too positive for my pockets than for me to sit down, ponder, think about how is this fucking me over? Like I just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't see anything wrong with it. And they are huge. I mean, they're massive. If you looked at like the employee like edition that just happened, it's scary, right?
It's a fucking lot of employees.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of heads, yeah.
Isn't it like 3,000?
So yeah, probably more than that.
My whole thing is just like the only worry I have is trying to get management all on the same page. And I mean, like, if you so here's a possible thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So Starfield, came out, and a lot of us here on the panel, or all of us on the panel, enjoyed that game, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We remember hearing Phil Spencer talk after Redfall came out that he had so many people working on Starfield that Redfall kind of got left in the dust.
Yeah, there's
Now, if you ask me, that sounds very familiar for Call of Duty. We don't have a whole lot of people working on Crash or something like that because everybody needs to come over here and work on this.
Focus on that. Yeah,
games are kind of falling apart. So it's just kind of like a practice what you preach kind of situation. Hopefully they can follow through on that, and that's really if you're going to look at anything as being a possible negative, I think that's really the only one I can think of. Just maintaining or for Activision's case, improving the workplace and getting it just in the right direction so you guys are not only just working on games but happy to work on the games that you're working on.
Definitely. That's
100%
well said. And you,
agreement, yeah.
and you mentioned management, and the other bit of news is actually that Bobby Kotick will be out as the CEO of Activision Blizzard at the end of 2023. So January 1st, 2024 comes around, Bobby Kotick's not the CEO anymore. So it
Right.
also raises the question of who do you think steps in to fill that role? Do you think it's
Jim
somebody
Ryan.
like? Oh my God, Twan, you fucking hell.
What do you say?
Like Joe
Jim
Montana.
Ryan. I said
Joe
Jim
Montana.
Ryan. Oh,
Do you think it's?
Could you imagine?
Do you think it's somebody within ABK right now, or do you think Xbox has somebody or Microsoft has somebody in mind for it already?
No, Joe Montana might have some stake in ABK.
Right. It's Ben Roethlisberger.
I seen a lot of people saying it should be Sarah Bond, and I'm like, at first
I
I'm like,
wouldn't be
wait,
mad
no, I
at
want
that.
her. I was like, wait a minute, I want her to take over Xbox. And I'm like, wait
Same.
a minute. But I'm like, how much longer is Phil going to be, heading Xbox? Maybe he's going to be doing it for another
I've been
5.
hearing people
6,
say
7.
Mike Ybarra.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too.
That's not bad because he's kind of turned Blizzard around
Yeah.
pretty hard. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Like that's just like kind of like Sarah Bond. It might be even great for Sarah Bond too if she's the head of. I mean, but she's awesome. She's really
Yes.
awesome from what we've at least seen of her. She's great. So maybe this would be an even better opportunity for her to grow that, managing studio, kind of like managing teams, workflow. Maybe this would be a great opportunity to let her get to kind of spread her wings a bit more and, and learn more. I mean, she probably knows a ton already, but kind of gives her a chance to, try something another level up. Even though she's the head of it just fell out of my freaking head. What exactly is she the head of? It just completely fell out of my head. Yeah, her title.
I'll look it up.
It just completely fell out of my head, and that really stinks.
Sarah Bond.
One
Sarah Bond's
second.
title. Oh my God, it'll be on her Twitter. It's not.
Yeah, isn't it like something with market? God, now I'm gonna like second guess myself, dude. But she's at literally every showcase. She's at every gaming event. She's been there through the whole Activision Blizzard stuff. Every indie game event. She's been essentially one of the many faces.
Corporate vice president at Xbox.
Okay, she's the vice president. Okay, I wish I remember the vice president, the corporate vice. And like, so this might be a good time. I don't really know though how all of that works, so maybe that's something she doesn't want to do. But I think she'd be a great choice. But yeah, Mike Ybarra as well.
Yeah. I would think. I honestly, if it's someone from ABK, it's probably Mikey Barr. And the first person that comes to mind from Microsoft would be Sarah Bond, and maybe it is Sarah Bond until Phil Spencer retires, and then Phil Spencer, or Sarah Bond takes Phil Spencer's spot, and then maybe they put someone else in Sarah Bond's spot from ABK. Who knows? Twan, do you have any thoughts on it?
About who's going to take over?
Yeah, once Bobby Kotick is out.
Jim Ryan.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if it was Jim Ryan. Could you imagine that?
I can't.
That'd be a train wreck.
I cannot imagine that.
And then Bobby goes and heads PlayStation after. Did he just switch? Like, could you imagine? Because PlayStation doesn't have a CEO at the moment, so so maybe someone
Jim
can
Ryan, Phil Spencer goes over to PlayStation. We get Jim Ryan. Oh my god, I would stop gaming. I'd be like, I'm done. So who do you think again, Twan? Sorry, before we started being.
I honestly have
weird.
no idea. Honestly, like I'm not even like.
Pick a celebrity, Twan.
Let's see.
He doesn't know a celebrity.
Celebrities. Wayne Gretzky.
Freaking Canadians.
You and your damn hockey. You and your damn hockey. I'll tell you what.
We should have gone through with our plan to invade Canada in the 40s. 20s, I can't remember.
You ain't.
So because you guys know more about that, because I don't really know a lot of the smaller people in these companies. I used to mainly know the bigger heads.
Yeah.
So
back in the 1980s. Twan could probably name the entire development team of every Sega Genesis game, but he doesn't remember what Phil Spencer exactly does.
This is Xbox guy.
Yeah, he's the Xbox.
He is the Xbox guy. He is the Xbox guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, Lulu deserves a raise for sure. That lady went to war.
Yeah, wasn't that the one the Blizzard? Wasn't she from Activision or some shit?
Yeah, she's on the APK side. Yeah, she was a trooper on Twitter.
He went feral
for the whole 2 years.
Yeah,
she was a trooper.
Yeah, I saw her pop up in my timeline every now and then. Yeah, she popped up a lot.
The amount of shit that people gave her was kind of was just
crazy.
kind of insane.
Yeah.
It was just kind of fucking insane. But I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I guess a better question, Twan, do you think that Sarah Bond would be a good fit?
That could work out. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what is she doing right now exactly?
Corporate vice president at Xbox.
Well, yeah. I mean, wouldn't someone else have to fill her role then if she were to take Activision?
Somebody would. Aaron Greenberg. What is he even doing? I haven't heard from that man in forever. Where's he been?
Get Melina Juergens. Get the chick who plays Senwa from Hellblade. That's a new.
Make her do it in character though.
That's the new corporate vice president for Xbox.
Do it in character.
Yeah. It's really hard to decide who's gonna do it, because then you gotta know, okay, who's gonna replace this person, who's gonna replace that person. So it's oh man, I'm no fucking manager. I don't know.
Jennifer Aniston steps in as Senwa.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
Juan's the vice president of Xbox.
I'd be down.
Oh my god, he'd be I'm going to sell off Activision. No, you know what he's going to do? He'd sell off Activision Blizzard King just for a super rare Sega Genesis.
Mr. Inferno says my girl Lulu needs a raise at least. Yeah. She deserves something. She deserves something after the last 2 years that she's put up with online for 2 years straight. I mean,
yeah,
she deserves some sort of compensation.
You got like you said, a lot of shit.
Yep. And to her credit, she didn't back down from any of it. There was multiple times where she gave it right back.
Yeah.
Which is nuts considering the corporate position that she's in. So, I mean, hats off to Lulu Chang. But yeah, I mean, I would say Sarah Bond kind of is my pick for taking over ABK after Bobby Kotick.
But would they have to replace him
Bobby Crotch?
By the time he leaves, they probably need a replacement by then already, right? Or would they have no CEO for a bit? How would that even work?
I would imagine they already have plans
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean,
I mean,
and
they had
maybe
plenty
they
of time to
don't.
think about it, though. They didn't
Yeah,
have
I
a lot of
know.
time to think about
They
it.
had like
Yeah.
nearly
So.
2 years to think about it, so they don't have anything yet. Then maybe this deal was a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got some things figured out already, and
Yeah.
we'll see. And I guess the other question, because this is a big topic, the other question that I want to ask in regards to this topic is how long do you think it takes for us to see stuff come to Game Pass? We're not going to see Modern Warfare 3 come to Game Pass this year.
Oh, definitely
They've already
not.
confirmed it,
Yeah.
and you're
Or
not going to see
Diablo
Diablo.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Diablo 4 as well. So, but like older games, Prototype, Modern
Hmm.
Warfare 2 from last year, the old Call of Duties. How
Hmm.
long do you think we wait before we see those come to Game Pass?
Hmm. It's hard to judge
Uh,
because I feel like we could potentially get Prototype on Game Pass before the Call of Duty games, believe it or not. Because I feel like there might be some stuff tied to the Call of Duty games that maybe I'm not sure exactly how it works because I know obviously PlayStation has like a contract with Call of Duty right now. I'm not sure if that's like a franchise thing or if it's like a game by game basis kind of thing. So it really depends on the type of deal that they have with PlayStation at the moment. So I'm not really sure on Call of Duty, but I feel like all the other Activision games like Crash, Spyro, and Prototype, I feel like before this year ends, maybe like November, December, I feel like we could see those games on Game Pass by then, personally. Like,
Nice.
but Call of Duty, I'm not quite sure on Call of Duty at the moment. Like, I feel like that
Okay.
could be like a iffy kind of like who knows really what type of deal they have with PlayStation because we already know they do have a deal with PlayStation. It really depends on what type of deal it is, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Mike, what about you?
who's gonna take over? I mean,
No, no, no.
wait, what? Wait, what are
When do
we
you,
talking about? I just dissociated then for like a
games
solid
coming to
second.
Game Pass? How
Oh
long do
my
you think?
god, I literally dissociated for like 10 minutes there.
That's funny.
I think like we might get small releases. I wouldn't expect them anytime soon, though. I think it's gonna kind of be like how Bethesda did it, when their game's getting out. I think we'll probably get a few celebratory ones, like how Doom Eternal was. Like that was like the
Yeah.
first one but that was when the acquisition was announced, though. But they couldn't do it during it because that would have been seen as like probably hostile.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I'd expect a few, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually gonna start waiting just to mass dump all of the games onto the service because like like I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but like I don't really know. They say they have to do stuff on the back end. I believe them.
Hmm.
How much I don't know, but I believe them. I don't know how long that's gonna take though. I don't
All
know.
right.
But like, what are your thoughts on like Call of Duty going to Game Pass? Do you think they would like release them would you expect Call of Duty going to Game Pass anytime soon, or would you expect that to
Like
be
the
like
new ones.
not
Not
even
the
the new
new
ones,
one.
even the
Not the
older
new ones.
ones?
He's not talking about
Because
the new ones.
yeah,
I mean, I would just would like to assume at least the older ones, like especially from the Xbox One and 360 generation, to be on there. Um, like like World War II and the ones before, yada yada. I could see those definitely, but I kind of feel like it's gonna be a slow transition. I think it'd be kind of silly not to. Who joined?
fucking Bill.
Bill, we're live.
Bill, we're live, but
Bill, we're live.
Bill's gonna be here. Like, oh, that's hilarious.
Buddy,
God bless him.
we love
Okay.
you, Bill.
Oh.
Um, but Bill's the best. But what was I saying? Crap. What was I saying? Yeah, I was expected a bit. But what the real question is I kind of want to ask you too, Ham. How do you feel? Do you think that it's going to be day and date for new Call of Duties, or do you think they might like hold off a month and you might get a little bit later? I know it kind of ruins the whole point day and date of Game Pass,
This Activision we're talking
but
about.
like yeah, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if like because let's be real, I mean Call of Duty, but once again though, they're still selling it on PlayStation. They still sell
Yeah,
it on
yeah,
Xbox. Not everyone's subbed to Game Pass. Not everyone's
yeah.
subbed on PC. So it's like, what do you guys think on that? Do you think their new COD games are going to be day and date, or do you think they might play around with it a little bit?
I mean, it'd be a great deal. Imagine like every year you're guaranteed a new Call of Duty plus all the other shit, Rather
Yeah.
than you're on PlayStation, you have to pay $70, $80 now for your subscription, and then another $90 on top of that to get the COD. Rather, you go to Xbox, pay $100 a year for Game Pass, and you're set. You know, you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about an extra multiplayer subscription. You don't need to worry about buying the game. That'd be like a huge incentive for a lot of people. You know, so I feel like
Yeah.
Microsoft would kill to have the opportunity to do something like that. So I feel like it would be day and date personally, once they have the chance to do it.
I would agree with that. And
What
what
do you
about
think,
you?
Em?
The question is, how long do I think until they start dropping?
We're asking, like, do you think like new Call of Duty games will be day and date, or do you think are they gonna eventually, whenever they're allowed to? Um, do you think they're gonna be day and date, or do you think they're gonna mix it up a little bit? Like, how do you think they're
I
gonna handle
definitely
that?
think they'll start off day and date. They'll definitely want to get that test in, see how that goes. I don't think that they would pull back now because that would be completely against what they've been telling everybody
Yeah.
they're going to be doing. So I don't see them saying, "Hey, we're day and date on everything, first party, except for this one." Like that.
Except for
I
this
just
one,
feel
yeah.
like
This is
I just
special.
feel like that's kind of sleazy.
Yeah, I agree.
With Call of Duty, they're definitely gonna do early access for Call of Duty, though. Let's be honest. You know, it's just
Yeah.
100%. Like a Call of Duty, yeah, 100%.
I expect them to do everything, like quite literally everything that PlayStation did with Call of Duty, with the exception of like maybe exclusive content, because I believe there's actually they signed like contracts to
That they
Not
wouldn't
not
Sony.
that they wouldn't do that. But like in terms of like early access stuff, like I fully expect all of that.
Mm-hmm.
110%. And to go more in depth, I do think they will be day. As soon as they can make it day and date, they're going to make it day and date.
Because
Whether
it's
that's
just too good of an opportunity for them to do it. You know.
yeah, and like Cam said, that's like their whole talking point around their entire platform has been, hey, we put our games day and date in Game Pass, and now Call of Duty is under the term of their games.
Mm-hmm.
So let's day and date in Game Pass as soon as it possibly can be.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect it to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just doesn't. It
Hey,
doesn't do
Bill.
any. It
Bill in the
doesn't do
chat.
any. There's Bill. What's up, Bill? Yeah, you should join after the show
Yeah.
because you definitely should join after the show.
We got things
Wait,
to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
we certainly do, bud. How we're gonna beat your hat? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think it's too much. Like, it helps their business too much to not do it as soon as you
100%.
possibly can. And oh yeah, to ask him the other question, when do you think we start seeing games go into Game Pass?
I'm sorry, say that again.
When do you think we start seeing games go into Game Pass from this deal?
Honestly, in the coming weeks.
Weeks.
I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at, bud.
I'd love that.
Because I'll tell you what, I recorded my video today, and I said I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised if we didn't hear something this week. Honestly,
That's fair.
about something. Now, is it going to be anything new? No,
Probably not.
but
No.
it's like there's so many games. I don't see them waiting out 2023 to add stuff like Prototype.
Mm-hmm.
Put that in there as soon as you possibly can. All the old Call of Duties, put it in there as soon as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect to hear more about that this week. And regardless of whether or not that's the case, we're going to get a lot of news this week.
Yeah.
So I'm actually very excited. I'm sorry I cut you off, Ham. I'm sorry, bud.
Me and Connor
No, you're
first, bro.
fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, no, I just think it's going to be within the coming weeks. I don't see why they would wait too long. I mean, if they got it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't say you win the race and then go to check the news to see if you won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, like, you got it done. All there is left to do is
Do it.
put
Yeah.
games on
Yeah.
service, and
Yeah.
I fully expect them to do that sooner than later.
100%. 100%. I like that you said that. I thought I was going to be the only person to say this week.
Well,
really
he didn't say this.
He
week,
said the
in
coming weeks, but I'm
Yeah.
going to say he's right there with me for this week.
I want them. Give me something this
That'd be
week.
cool.
I'm going to
I always
live in
wanted to
that
play-
reality.
I've always wanted to play World War II's campaign. I hear it's really good, but I've just never played it because I never
Dude,
bought
the
that
campaign for World War II is fucking crazy.
I've
Really?
heard. I hear it's
It's-
incredibly dark. I mean, which World
It's
War II is
varied. It's pretty fucking twisted.
Let's go.
If that comes to Game Pass, I'll absolutely play that campaign with you. Is that
Ooh,
no
can we
wait?
play
Is
that
it
co-op?
co-op? Is it
Is it
co-op?
co-op? I don't think
Oh,
it's
I don't know.
co-op.
We have
I
to
doubt
check
it.
that.
I doubt that's co-op.
God damn it!
I
I
don't
forgot
think
about that.
has any Call of Duty campaign actually been co-op? Like I don't
World
even
at
know.
War, and
World
honestly,
War.
the servers weren't terrible.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they weren't
Terrible.
terrible, that game
Yeah.
was actually awesome co-op. That was a great
Servers
game to
was
play co-op.
terrible.
Terrible
Hmm.
terrorist.
That was terrible, Kenny.
Okay.
But like when they do add Call of Duty on Game Pass, do you expect it just to be all at once? But like, here's every COD on Game Pass, or like, you think it's gonna be
No.
like, okay, here's here's COD 4, and then another week they'll be like, okay, here's Modern Warfare 2. Like, how do you think that's gonna play out? You know?
We actually talked about this on the show on Friday, I think
No, we
they'll
didn't.
drip. I think yeah,
Adam.
we did. I think
Adam.
they'll drip feed it.
Yeah.
Because Loke made a pretty good point of like their whole business model is a subscription and keeping you in the subscription month
That's
to
true.
month.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
adding a new Call of Duty every month, along with whatever else they want to add from the deal, get your backwards compatibility program back together, figure out a few
Yeah.
things with some licensing that might
Get
be
some
keeping
Ultimate
things
Spider-Man
clogged
on
up.
there.
Yeah, like, and then dude, bring back if you can get Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 on there. I mean, my God,
that would be crazy.
my God.
I'd freak the fuck out, dude.
Like if
I
we
would
can get that,
lose it.
like if you do that and you drip feed, here's a Call of Duty with I don't know, a prototype, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That's like your first month, and then your second month you just keep adding to that. Here's another Call of Duty with some more Activision games. Here's another Call of Duty, and it just keeps going. You could do that for probably the next 12 to 14 months of just adding Call of Duty and one or two other Activision Blizzard games to the service. And that would keep people locked in. If they like Call of Duty and those Activision Blizzard games, that guarantees people locked in for like 12 months.
Yeah.
So it's like I could totally see them drip feeding things like that. Bill says he hopes they don't drip feed. And the thing is, I'm with you, Bill. I would much rather them drop everything at once because I'm selfish and I want to play all the games. But like just purely speaking from a business perspective, I can totally see them doing the drip feed thing. It's it makes sense. He also says I wouldn't be surprised if they drop the whole library at once either. But yeah, you said business wise makes sense. Yeah, that's my whole thing. I mean, I could see them doing either thing, but I do think in terms of just their whole business model, it makes sense to do those things slowly. What do you guys think?
Yeah, totally. I think the dripping does definitely make sense. I mean, it would be nice. I mean, if Xbox is like, yeah, let's be the cool guys, and just drop them all at once, that'd be pretty cool. But at the same time, they are a business, right? So they kind of have to think things out reasonably, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like every now and then Xbox does do something like cool, like, oh, we're the cool guys, and they'll do something crazy. But I don't know if they're gonna do it with Call of Duty. They might want to take it slow. I wouldn't blame them for them. Because even Activision, right? Bobby's still in there right now, so he's probably kind of still on the fence about the whole thing too. you know. So I mean, who knows, really? So I mean, he's
What,
still
what
there.
is he on the fence about?
Like I don't know. I mean, like about
Well,
because
It's over.
I know Bobby is like the type of person where I'm pretty sure he doesn't even like Game Pass, right?
well, yeah, but it doesn't matter what he likes.
I know, but he's still technically in the company until the end of the year.
Yeah, until the
You
end
know?
of
Yeah,
the
but he's
year.
not the
But like,
boss.
He's not there, but he's not.
He ain't the
managing.
boss
Yeah.
anymore.
he ain't the boss anymore.
I guess.
He ain't
Like,
that
That's all the
guy.
guest one. He's not the boss anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
He's not that guy,
No,
pal.
he's just
he's not
not
that
that
guy,
guy,
pal.
bud.
Yeah.
I mean, we might, not get drip fed things, but like, or whatever. But like, yeah, but it's not his call anymore. He's simply there to show
Yeah.
Microsoft what they need to do and how things run, and just sit there, look like the little goblin he is, and then get his ass out of there.
But like now I think about it, has any Activision games ever been on Game Pass? Like I don't even remember like any
honestly don't know.
games being on Game Pass.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I feel like they're just not that type of company. They want you to buy their games, you know. They've just
Yes,
kind of
they
always
do.
been like that, where it's like we're releasing a new game, you gotta spend $60 if you're not gonna spend it, well then screw you, you know. I feel like it's just the way they've been, you know.
I think
But
every company wants them to buy their games, though.
Exactly. That's why you
You
hear.
know, like if Xbox could just put out games and everybody bought them
yeah,
for everything, then there'd be no meaning for a subscription service. Everybody just be buying the games. But look at PlayStation. Nobody's like a lot of people aren't buying their games. They're
Mhm.
selling hella consoles, but what's the point of spending tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars on games if no one's buying them? So it's just like,
Mhm.
all right, what do we do? What do we do to be able to continue to afford to make big budget games? Well, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
make a subscription service at some point to continue our profits to keep people on games that are becoming relevant. I mean, becoming irrelevant, but they still continue to have life because people have access. As to where
Mhm.
a God of War Ragnarok, it doesn't touch a service. It's saturated after 3-4 months, and that's kind of it until they do something with it, like a sale
Mhm.
or put it into their subscription service, which I think PlayStation will do that at some point, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just like, do you want that lull period, or do you want to keep people engaged constantly? And like Matt was saying earlier about what Loke said, the whole thing is to keep you there, like Netflix. Netflix
Yeah.
keeps you there. YouTube
hmm
keeps you there. They want your engagement, and you giving engagement is pretty much solidifying. The longer that you continue to give engagement, the more that you have no problem giving your money.
Yes. 100%. And Bill asks a question in the chat. He says, has a thought. He says, PlayStation is surviving on their name recognition this gen. What do you guys think? I'm gonna pass that off to anybody who wants to answer that first, and I'll
Matt
go
just don't want
last
to look
on
like a
that.
fool. Just
I'll
kidding.
go last on that because
Oh.
I do have a thought or two on that. So
I guess
mean,
I'll go.
you go. Yeah,
Like,
you go. No, you
okay,
go.
I guess
You
I'll
go.
go first. Yeah, I mean, like with how successful the PlayStation 4 was, all they had to do was simply not screw the PS5's launch up. That's all they had to do. Like, don't pull an Xbox One. You know, don't do something stupid. Just continue doing the same thing you're doing, but make better hardware. That's all they needed to do, and that's what they did do, and they're succeeding because of that. You know, I feel like I mean the PlayStation 4 they definitely the PS4 generation they did all the right things to and they earned their spot where they are now during the
You
PS4
damn right
generation.
they earned it. I mean, I applaud them last generation.
Yeah,
They
mhm.
made me jealous that I did not
yeah,
get a PlayStation for the first time since I bought a PlayStation 2. Because like I said, I skipped
yeah.
the PS3 generation. I skipped the PS4 generation, but they're at about I want to say 2018. I was shopping for a PlayStation. I just didn't get one because I moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just did all the right choices. You know, like the games are great, the hardware was like great. You know, they did the right architecture. You know, it wasn't like some stupid
Their
ass architecture like the PS3 was.
their
Like just
marketing.
yeah, marketing was great. The console was well designed. You know, it was just everything about that console was fantastic. And you know, they earned their spot. You know, back on being pretty much the market leader, right? Because you know, with PS3 they kind of lost that a bit. And you know, like I said, they learned their lessons. They made the PS4 perfect. And then the PS5 came out. They kind of just continued doing the same thing, but at the same time, you know, you could tell there's different management, right? Especially with Jim Ryan. And I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, like at least this generation, they're kind of just riding the wave of the PS4 success because a lot of those casual gamers that kind of just played Call of Duty on, you know, PlayStation, they're kind of just, okay, I got a better console. I'm continue doing what I'm doing. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's all the kind of dude bro gamers, you know, just, you know, getting a console because, you know, all their friends have it. And that's pretty much about it, really. That's, you know, that's kind of what I think about it.
Yes, and
So,
and, and I do agree with that, and I'm interested to hear what the other folks have to say because
yeah.
I mean I think Bill brings up a pretty great point.
All right,
Uh,
Mike, you're up.
yeah, I mean, brand recognition just plus like everyone else has said, they had the better product last generation. They had the
100%. Yeah,
reliable product. It started off a little, in a sense, when it came to first party output, it started off a little rocky.
that's true.
But they had the cheaper, more powerful console.
Hmm.
It didn't have a drama infused like fiasco of a reveal period.
Hmm.
It openly mocked the DRM, which was a huge issue for people on console, and I like
Hmm.
um and I think it's like it's a brand loyalty just plus kind of brand trust
Yeah,
at the moment. And for a lot of people, it's not like that Microsoft hasn't necessarily won their trust. It's more so that like I'm kind of fine with what I got over here at the moment.
yeah.
There's still really no real reason for me to make a switch yet. I
Hmm.
mean, I guess you could say it's brand recognition, but I just genuinely think that Sony set themselves up for such tremendous success, not just sale wise, but in the mind of gamers, in the mind of the industry, physical media, whatever you want to say it. Because to a degree, I genuinely believe, as someone that doesn't play many physical games, they probably did keep physical gaming media, at least disc wise, because the Switch doesn't do disc. You know,
Yeah,
a bit more relevant. I mean, like, yeah, Xbox, you're gonna get a code in the case, but it was still somewhat tied DRM. I genuinely think, and once again, I'm a download only kind of guy. I haven't gone up to put a game in a console since I don't even remember the last time. But I do think it was just, people were just, they felt like they could trust that brand and trust that company, and company trust or faith in
yeah.
a company is a huge, huge selling point. And I really, I think it's a combination of, pardon me, of surviving on the brand name and just how they kind of countered Microsoft in every single
Mhm.
way. Like, well, also, like, remember when PlayStation Plus started adding games on the PS4? They, for a while, there was a point they were better than Xbox Live games with gold games too. Like, there was a
Mhm.
time where before Game Pass, even like PlayStation had better, and for a lot of people, it doesn't really matter yet that if Microsoft is better, quote unquote.
Mhm.
For my taste, they're my preferred brand, but like,
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't matter to them until maybe they're forced to look somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's kind of how I feel about it. But at the same time, though, I haven't put that much thought into it because I see what Bill's saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what about you? What do you think PlayStation is surviving on name recognition this generation?
PlayStation surviving on what?
Name recognition this generation.
Yeah, I mean, yes and yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's. I mean, I guess yes, 100% actually.
I was about to,
Um,
dude.
I was gonna say yes and no, but like I don't really know where like I wanted to just I was sitting there thinking there has to be something else out there that really you know, but it's just like but it's literally not.
Yeah.
You look at the
Really
game
bad.
that they're talking about or that's rumored to come out, it's another possible remake.
Yeah, that's wild. Just
You
absolutely
know,
wild.
and it's just like how much more are you gonna live off of your big brother's coattail? This
Mhm.
man's out here looking like Jackson Mahomes. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but he does all these tick. So Jackson Mahomes is,
Pat
I'm,
Mahomes'
I'm
little
sure you
brother.
guys heard of Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Jackson Mahomes is his little brother, and he would go to every single game and do TikTok dances.
Oh God.
And people would
Fail.
always say, you're riding your brother's coattails, which is fine, but he's kind of making a mockery of himself while doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like PlayStation's kind of a lesser version of that, like not as bad, because Jackson's like now dealing with possibly going to jail.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
But what I'm kind of saying is it's just like you're out here flaunting something that you didn't really do. PS4 did that.
Yeah.
PS3 did that. You made it better a little bit, you know, graphically and what, but you didn't do anything that wasn't to be expected
Mm-hmm.
when you do something like that. Like so if I were to, you know, if Nintendo announces that they're making, you know, the original Mario game and Duck Hunt, and they're making it two, you know, two in one game, just like it was before. I'm not expecting everything in the world, but I'm definitely expecting it to be a little bit better than it was before, at the least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what The Last of Us kind of was, is a little bit better than before than the least. But here's
Yeah.
where I'm like lost, and I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, but I get a little lost when I think about PlayStation, in the sense of a director's cut versus a remake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really certain what the difference is for them in particular. I guess I just don't know, because I look at the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, and then I look across at The Last of Us part one that came out.
Yeah.
And if you look at the benefits that were brought forward for both of those games, it's like, why was one $70 and why was one a $10 upgrade?
Yeah, that's
You
true.
see what I'm saying? Like, you got
Mhm.
DualSense features with
Yeah.
the Ghost of Tsushima. You got the I think there was some sort of different graphical boost that you got.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't like now 4K, 60,
I know you got like a different language. You got a whole new language as
Mm-hmm.
well, and you could play like in black and white or something. I don't remember. But there was like, I know for sure that there was like 5 or 6 things that got added to the Ghost of Tsushima thing. And then if you looked at the Death Stranding director's cut as well, there was a crap ton of stuff that got added to that.
Yep.
Now, like, that director's cut makes Ghost of Tsushima's look a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Because they added different vehicles to it. The was it an up-res in graphics at all, or were there just modes now?
I don't think it was much of an up-res. If there
Was
was
it
what's
4K 60 before?
I don't think it was ever 4K.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
PlayStation always did, like for the PS4 Pro, PlayStation always did 1440p. They never really focused on 4K.
Smart,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was always like a fake 4K usually on PS4 Pro.
which is smart.
Okay, like
Obviously,
dynamic
one.
4K.
Yeah,
Like checkerboarded.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
checkboard. Yeah.
which is smart, and I think I wish more, wouldn't try to shoot for that native 4K. It's just, dude, not many things can do native 4K with these.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe you're seeing what I'm saying, maybe you're not. But I'm just
No,
saying,
yeah,
like
Mhm.
the remake for The Last of Us. I mean, if you're rivaling it versus Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding or even Uncharted 4 that had a patch and everything with a whole other game added to it.
Good
I
point.
just like their messaging is just kind of off a little bit to me.
I mean,
And
technically, part one even removed content when you really think about it too.
Yeah, it took out
You
the
know?
multiplayer.
Yeah, right. So technically, comes out, it even has less content than the PS4 remaster did. So I don't know, man. It's like you get some, but you lose some as well. So ah,
yeah, I
man.
just don't know what to take of it. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely living in last generation with just updated graphics, and it's just kind of weird. I haven't really heard, or I mean, I don't know if you guys know his. I mean, I've said this several times, and no one's been able to really help me out with it. But what new PlayStation IP do they have this generation so far?
I guess
You can say
Destruction All Stars.
Returnal.
I guess.
You can. Oh God! So we're gonna go with that. That
With
is
what?
the new PlayStation IP.
With what?
I said Destruction All
Destruction All
Stars.
Stars.
Oh, well, yeah, that's no.
Well, I
That's
guess
a
Returnal.
banger.
I
Kidding.
guess Returnal will definitely be a better
That's not an
example.
IP, not PlayStation IP.
Returnal.
And I think, wait, no, that is technically, isn't it? Wait,
Well, they own the
now it
studio
is.
now.
now
They
it is.
weren't when
Yeah.
they weren't when the game came out, but then they
Okay.
bought
They
them.
bought Housemarque. I think that's the studio, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about is Housemarque.
Yeah.
They're awesome. I love those guys.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they come up with next. Honestly, I feel like they could
But
definitely.
yeah,
What else? I'm trying to think. Genuinely.
there's not another. There's not.
I mean, I
Goddamn.
feel like Square Enix made more first party PS5 games than not first party, but they made more PS5 exclusives than Sony's first party
Yeah,
studios.
I wouldn't be
I'm pretty
surprised with
sure.
that. I wouldn't be surprised with that.
I mean, let's see. So far, we got Square Enix. We got Forspoken. We have Final Fantasy 16. We're having Final Fantasy 7 remake coming out. We even had the Final Fantasy 7 integrate thing release. We even have that new Splatoon ripoff coming out, Home Stars. So that's like 4 or 5 games at this point. And then
Yeah.
versus Sony's first party studios, which is like I don't know, God of War, Spider-Man, Ratchet. It's almost about the same amount, honestly. Like I don't know. It's like it's
But
wild.
the thing is I said new IP.
Exactly.
New IP, okay, and nothing. Yeah.
There's
Other
nothing.
other than Returnal and Destruction All Stars. I mean, I don't know if you really want
I
to.
mean, no one's playing Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, that's like saying like, oh yeah, Xbox got Redfall. It's like you don't really want to bring that up, It's like
I
let's just
mean,
pretend that never
hey,
happened.
Redfall got an update. I don't know when the last time Destruction All Stars got an update.
Yeah, that's
So
That's funny.
that's
Very
true.
good point.
I don't know. But yeah, like what he's saying is
Yeah.
accurate. Like there's nothing new. Like it's just all the stuff we got last gen,
Mhm.
a continuation of it, or here it is but prettier, and now you can use the controller that you paid for already.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, to answer Bill's question, PlayStation is unequivocally surviving off of their name recognition. Like I say that without any hesitation whatsoever. Like they're factually 110% surviving entirely off of brand recognition right now, which is fine because they set themselves up to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like at the end of the day, as someone who, is invested in the PlayStation ecosystem and has been since like the PS2,
Yep.
I mean, it's a little disheartening to say the least
Yep.
that I mean, you get the PlayStation 5, and it's like
You're hyped for this thing,
you're
this new
you're hyped.
generation.
Yeah, you're
Nothing.
hyped for it,
Yeah.
and like they have so many talented studios, like just a
Mhm.
ton of talented studios. And I mean, Sucker Punch, Ghost of
Mhm.
Tsushima 2, where is it? We haven't even seen a
Yeah.
logo for that shit.
Yeah.
We don't even know like that game came out what in 2020? Just a logo or just like
Mhm.
some sort of dev diary or just
Mhm.
anything to show us that it exists. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously it exists. Obviously they're working on it, but goddamn, when does it come out?
Yeah.
Like, give us something to be excited about. Naughty Dog. I mean, with the shit that's going on at Naughty Dog, they canceled, or supposedly it's rumored that they canceled Last of Us Factions. I was looking forward to that. I very
Mhm.
much want a multiplayer game to play on PlayStation. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna, and people are gonna tell you, oh, you can play Call of Duty. I don't fucking want to play Call of Duty on PlayStation. I
I'll
want to
tell
play it
you right
on
now.
an Xbox controller.
Mhm.
I'll tell you right now, real quick, Matt. If that was a coalition canceling a game that they've been talking about for years like that, it would have been coalition is going out of business. You
Yeah,
know what
something
I'm
like that.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that would have been what was coming out of everybody. Oh, the coalition is down bad. They're going out. They can't get back from this, and I can guarantee you, it would be like a running story for IGN for a hot minute.
And they
Yeah,
repost it like 20 times.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the thing is, like the rumor for Last of Us Factions getting canceled. Granted, it is just a rumor. You
Mhm.
take it with a grain of salt until something's actually solidified. But like what Ham just said, if there was a rumor of Ninja Theory canceling fucking Hellblade 2,
Oh
or
God.
if like he brought up Coalition, or if like something of that scale, if that were to happen, even if it was just a rumor, that would get ran with. That would get
Mhm.
ran with. They didn't run with it. Nobody ran with it. Because I was looking actually for a tweet to bookmark to like an article about it. I only saw like
Mhm.
two actual posts of the rumor of Last of Us Factions being canceled. It's like, and then meanwhile, Naughty Dog is like, oh, don't worry, we're working on another single player game. It's like, yeah, that's fantastic and everything, but what the fuck is it?
Mhm.
Where is it? Like, show us anything. Like, concept art? I mean, dude, you've been working for. And I don't want to like shit so hard because it's like, dude, they're developers. When a game gets canceled, if it is canceled, it's a bummer. I can only imagine
Mhm.
it's probably a bummer. They're probably not very stoked. But like, just you've been working for 4 years. You would figure even longer because I mean, Last of Us Factions was supposed to come out with Last of Us Part 2 in 2020. So it's like you've been working all this time on that, and all you have to show for it for a game that's canceled is a fucking JPEG you showed at Keeley's show like 2 years ago. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I say so easily that PlayStation is surviving entirely off of brand recognition. And again, like I said, they set themselves up to do so. God bless. But as a fan, it fucking stinks. It
Mhm.
really fucking stinks. That I like. What's Cory Barlog working on? I mean, the thing is, we all kind of like know what he's working on because it's been rumored and leaked multiple times over, but we have no official confirmation.
Was it supposed to be like a space game or something?
Yes, like a sci-fi game.
Mm.
Like that sounds awesome. Give me something, anything, dude. Like at all. You've been working on this game for a while, and I know you don't want to. Like, I don't expect a full in-depth trailer or anything, but just fucking something. And this is the same thing we were saying the same shit about Xbox when like last year when they showed us like fuck all.
Mhm.
Like give us something. Like acknowledge that we're giving you money and you're
Mhm.
using that money to build things for us to play.
Man,
Mhm.
thinking about Xbox last year is fucking insane right now. compared to where they are right now, and what was out at very least. It was 2022 was really
It stunk.
bad.
And here,
Like-
and here's the thing: it's like maybe at the end of 2024, PlayStation's in the exact same spot as Xbox right now, where they got a bunch of stuff out. Everybody's excited, but it's like, dude, until we see that, I don't have a reason to be excited.
Yeah, I won't believe it until I see it. You know?
And in the meantime, the only thing I'm getting is rumors of a Last of Us Part 2 remaster. It's like, dude, that game doesn't fucking need remastered.
God no, it's already 60 FPS on PS5.
It's already 60 FPS. Literally, just add DualSense features, call it a day.
Yeah.
It was the game of the year less than 5 years ago.
Like way less than 5 years ago.
It was like 3, 4,
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you hear about Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't even know if that's true, but we heard rumors a while ago that one's getting a remaster. It's like, dude, if you want to do this, you have to be releasing other things. You have to be doing other things to get people excited, because remastering
fed the same food, you know.
because remastering 3 and 5 year old games isn't getting people excited. That's like ruining my excitement for your platform. To the point where it's like, if we keep this up, it's like I don't know, like what's my reason to own a PlayStation? What is my actual reason if we keep
Motivation.
this up? And I say that wholeheartedly, because like, as much as I love Spider-Man, give me something besides fucking Spider-Man and some remasters, please. That's all I'm saying. And I wanted to go last on that, because I just, when Bill brought that up, I was like, in my head I was like, fucking yes, they absolutely have been surviving off of brand recognition, and I just wanted to say that. But that was my little rant out of the way. Back to the normal show.
All I hear is a bot
We got
crying.
completely out of prime. We got completely off topic there.
I'm fine with it though, because I wanted to say that. I really want to
All I'm hearing is a bot crying. Okay, that's ham saying.
quit crying, Mike.
I hate you, bud. Me and my 7 PlayStation 5s.
Yeah, it really just feels like on PS5 we're just being fed the same food that we're fed on PS4. You know, it's like, you know, we had a PS4. You know, we already ate this food. You know, don't feed it to us again. You know,
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly. And that's all we're asking. That is all we're asking here. Did you guys by chance see Okami Games tweet out he says 2023?
oh yeah,
has
it
been
was
an
a great year
absolute-
for Xbox. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that
a
pissed
banner
off a
year
lot of
for
people for whatever
Xbox.
reason. You know,
I'm sure.
Oh God, I can't. What? Sorry, Matt. You go. Go on. You watch. Okay.
I'm sure it pissed many people off. But the
Who said
graphic, I'm gonna put it here up on stream. The graphic is Okami Game says 2023 has been an absolute banner year for Xbox. 10 first-party game releases: Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, Age of Empires 4, Quake 2 Remaster, Age of Empires 2 Remastered, Redfall, and Ghostwire Tokyo. And then major pushes in Japan with Persona 3. Twan, you're good with the Persona names. I can't remember the
Persona
names.
3, Persona 5,
Tactica.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what's see this?
Which one?
Like a Dragon.
Oh yeah, Yakuza
Like
Like Dragon.
Engine.
The man
Yeah.
the man who erased his
Yeah,
name.
erased his name. Yeah.
Also
Dragon.
coming to
Right.
Game Pass.
Yeah, day one. Yeah.
Activision Blizzard obviously being acquired this past week, and then the Xbox Showcase. We got a pretty good layout of things to come for next year and beyond. And then the biggest launch in Xbox history being Starfield.
Yeah.
So it's like that graphic kind of puts into perspective. And it's funny to go to that after talking about what we all just talked about. It puts into like the contrast of like where both companies are right now. And I thought I saw this as I was scrolling through my bookmarks, and I thought I'd bring it up, especially after what we just talked about. But yeah, I just figured I'd bring that up. I didn't know that it was 10 first-party games. I kind of like there's games I forget about because I'm not.
I
They're
think
not really
even
my
Golden.
thing.
I think he even said GoldenEye 007. I think he counted that as one of them as well.
No, he didn't. Not on this. He didn't. Or maybe he.
No,
Hold on.
because yeah,
Hold on.
if you've looked at that, there's only 9 listed up
There's
there,
only
and
nine. Yes. So
yeah. Then I
maybe he
looked at
did.
the comments. He's like, yeah, he's like GoldenEye 007. He said that as well. He even includes some DLC as well from some other games like Sea of Thieves and all that
Gotcha.
shit. Right. So yeah,
Okay. But yeah, there's like games in there like for me I kind of forget about because they're not really like Age.
yeah,
It's not my
yeah.
thing.
Fair enough.
Minecraft not really my thing.
Yeah.
But regardless, they're
I mean,
putting the.
technically, Modern Warfare 3 is a first party release this year. If you think about it, you
I
know.
mean, official like now that it's officially closed before the day it releases, it
Yeah, it technically is.
technically is
Yeah.
a first party
Yeah.
release.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's still fucking insane to say, honestly.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I just thought that was something interesting that I wanted to bring up real quick. But yeah, guys, I mean, there was also some. What's up?
No, I was just gonna. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
You're fine.
Okay.
I was just gonna say I finally got Flight Sim running the way I
Let's
want
go.
to.
Nice. Let's go.
Where
Nice.
everything is smooth in my VR, and right now I'm in this dual turbo prop flying around New York. It's pretty fucking
Man, while we were like doing this whole podcast, freaking Ham is just flying a plane right now in virtual reality.
Yeah, I was just troubleshooting. I
And
just
flying a fighter
troubleshooting.
jet.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think like Ham right now is like in a jet while we're just doing this podcast. You know, crazy to think about.
But yeah, there was more news outside of the whole ABK thing. I kind of want to get to a few things before we wrap up the show.
Yeah,
PlayStation's price increases,
of course.
there's seemingly increasing the price. I mean, kind of are of the PlayStation Digital Console to $450, which is just. I'll offer my thoughts again. I will offer my thoughts at the end. I want to pass it off to you guys, so you guys can give your thoughts on this. Twan, why don't you go first, bud?
I mean, it's great that PlayStation's getting a slim model. I mean, God knows that they need that. Especially with how big the PS5 is.
They really
and
need it.
I'm pretty sure it's bumped up to a terabyte, right? Rather than like the 800 that the PS5 has. So I mean, that's good. That's also a plus. I'm pretty sure the disc model is the exact same price. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
It is.
Okay, so okay. But yeah, the whole reason about the digital version being $50, that's kind of confusing. I don't know if there's some new tech in there that makes it possible for them to switch to disc out, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I really buy that. And then an extra $200 to 200 gigabytes. I don't know if that's worth an extra $50. Like, I'm not like, does that make sense for you guys to spend $50 on 200 gigabytes of storage?
It's not even. It's like 125.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't really justify why they increased the price to $50.
All I ever keep seeing people say, "Well, you don't understand. It gives you the option of buying a the disc edition." I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but
spend an
at
extra
that point,
$50.
spend the extra 50. Even if you're not going to use it, you might as well, because if you have that thought in the back of your head, like, oh, I might. Who knows? Maybe I might, but at least I have the option. If you even have that thought at all, get the disc version.
Yeah, because at that point, I mean, I get it. I get with the original one where it was $100 cheaper. It's like, okay, $100, that's significant. You could buy a whole ass game, and get the console, But with that, it's like, okay, $50, you can't even buy a game with that money,
Yeah.
So it's like, what's even the point? Just get the whole ass console at that point. So it doesn't make any sense. If it was $100, then yeah, it'd be, oh, that's great. You spend $80, you could get the thing. If you change your mind. But yeah, with this, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe I don't know. Maybe because it wouldn't make sense to make it $100 cheaper. Because think about it, if they did make it $100 cheaper, then you spend, because apparently the disc drive is only $80. So technically, you'd be able to spend $100 cheaper for the digital version, and then you spend $80 to get the disc drive, and then you'd actually save $20 if you really think about it.
You know what I would do in that case if I was Sony, if I was really worried about that?
Make the disc drive $100.
I'd make you could do that, or you could
Yeah.
make it cheaper at the
Yeah.
$450 price point.
Yeah.
I mean, either of those two things, and let's be realistic, they're not going to make something cheaper. So it's like, just make it $100.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, you already.
here's my thing with what you just got done saying, Matt.
Yeah.
Usually, like at least back in the day when you had, your slim version or your next variation of the exact same thing, usually if it didn't come with something that made it like in the sense of like an elite, usually they were cheaper. So I kind of see what Matt's saying with like, well, what was the point of you making a different $500 one if it's just the exact same thing, kinda, and then on top of it, you got the digital. So, and here's where I'm a little kind of confused. So does that mean if you currently have a digital console, are you just not able to get that disc drive?
I don't
I
think so.
don't know.
No.
Because
I
if
do
you
not.
see,
I mean,
because if you see the newer version of the PlayStation, it's like it has two panels on each side.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, in one of those panels is specifically for the disc drive.
Yep.
And I'm assuming they fitted that perfectly for that. But if this, but if somebody wants a disc drive for their current digital, is that not possible to do?
That's
Doesn't
what
look.
I've been
Yeah.
wondering.
I
Definitely not.
honestly don't
And
know.
Probably.
and I
Is
think it'd
that
be
what the
pretty
extra
shitty.
$50 is for? Is for the housing unit of the disc drive with a few extra gigs to be able to play?
It's a good ass question, Ham. I think it'd be pretty shitty if like it might not look pretty, if who knows, it might have to be external for the original PS5 Slim, but at least they'll have an option. If they have no option, that I think it'd be pretty shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be pretty shitty.
I
It sucks
haven't heard
too.
anything about them having an option.
It sucks too because we have those fancy Spider-Man PS5 plates, and you're definitely not going to be able to use that on the Slim.
Yeah,
So,
true.
but here's what it is. I wonder if they're going to make PS5 plates for the Slim. I wonder if that's even going to work because it seems like that one's a bit more complicated to take off than the original PS5. I wonder if like putting the SSD in there is going to be the same process if you're just going to have to screw it out and all that kind of shit. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if they maybe changed that around or who knows. Who knows what they do? Who knows what they're cooking?
I don't think they know what they're cooking.
They ain't
I
cooking
don't
shit. They're cooking a hot dog turd is what they're cooking.
know.
No.
Yeah. All right, Mike.
Hot
Did you
dog.
did you say your reason why you think it's more expensive or?
No, I basically I said the same. I was going to say the same thing you guys were. So I don't really have a
Yeah,
separate point to make it all. To
I
be
guess
quite
that's
honest with
fair.
you.
I'm gonna say, and Ham
Matt
kind of
loves it.
alluded to it. That console should be costing less, not
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Like usually a revision on a console,
Supposed to be cheaper.
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
it cheaper to make and
Yeah. I mean, look at the
manufacture.
PS3 Slim. Like the original PS3 was stupid expensive. They cut things out. They made it slim, and now it's cheaper. That's what the whole goal of making the Slim was. You know.
Yeah,
So
like it's
I
usually
think the
cheaper to.
same thing about the new Xbox all digital console is coming out. It's cool that there's 2 terabytes in it now, but I
mhm.
think that thing should be like 450.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be charging the same price for more or less the same product. And adding 150 gigabytes to your storage doesn't make it a different product. You can't even fit the new Call of Duty on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, like, that's not a selling point, really. So
You'll
like,
have slight more room to install 3 remasters of The Last of Us 2.
and
Yeah.
the thing is, fucking good luck with that, because Last of Us Part One is like fucking 80 GB
Jesus Christ.
on PS4. So it's like, yeah, good luck with that. But I mean, I look at that, and yeah, that shouldn't be, that should not be costing more. It should be costing less. And the fact that they're making it cost more, it makes me wonder if they're just trying to make the PS5 digital irrelevant, which doesn't make any sense to me, because I would think they would love the PS5 digital, because the only way you can buy games for that is directly through them at the
Mhm.
prices they decide.
Mhm.
So it doesn't make any sense for them to want to get rid of it or to price it out of existence. So why on earth, who made the call that this is
Just kidding.
that this is $50 more than it should be? And realistically, this is about 100. Like, this console should be 350. It shouldn't be 400. It shouldn't be. It sure as fuck shouldn't be 450. This should be 350. The original PS5 digital was 400. You revised it so it costs less to manufacture. You should be selling it for less money to make more money on purchases on your online store, because that's the only way people can purchase your games. So I look at that and I'm just confused. I'm just really confused. And the only explanation I come up with is they don't like the PS5 digital existing, so they're just trying to price it out. And when I come up with that explanation, it still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just baffled by it. But hey, it's PlayStation. They're gonna do what they do. And here's the thing: it's still gonna sell like crazy. So what can you really do? Um,
Mhm.
and I mean, it's not like anyone really has a choice, because if you wanted a digital edition, this is the new digital edition. You can't buy the old one starting in November, I think, is when this comes out. Like, that's done. Like, they're gonna stop making those. So this is the thing you buy now. So it's like, whether you like it or not, that's the thing you get.
How cool
Which,
would it be? I wouldn't be surprised if some places start like dropping prices of the older PS5 model. Like just to get rid of them because they have to start selling the new ones. Because sometimes they have like a build up. If I got lucky and can find one a little bit cheaper, I'll have a PS5 again. Who knows?
you should buy
Oh
two
yeah,
of them,
yeah, that's right.
honestly.
You gotta get another PS5. That's right. He's gonna
If
put the
I mean,
Slim.
to be honest, I was kind of hoping the Slim would have been it, but I mean, it kind of
Not.
isn't. I mean, like it's not any really. It's not like I was even considering getting an all digital, and I'm like, oh, I'll wait for the new all digital. Now the new all digital is more expensive. I'm like, this fucking stinks. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Sounds like you need to find yourself a scalper, bud,
Oh, I'm all set.
and
I'm not dealing with
pay
any of that.
just a little bit more.
UPS is enjoying my 3080. I don't need to lose any more money.
UPS is using your 3080 right now.
They're running all their
Miss,
servers off my GPU.
Mr. UPS is using your 3080.
Oh my
Mr.
god.
UPS himself, the real Mr. UPS.
He goes by
Uh,
ups. Thank you.
exactly.
It's,
Tom says the PS5 for $300. You know what,
custom.
Tom? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make that a
Mhm.
reality. That does raise questions about the PS5 Pro, because everybody, like, the rumor on the PS5 Slim was that the it would be $400 for the disc model, was the rumor, and the digital would be cheaper, whatever that would end up being. We see now that's not the case. It's $500 for the disc model, $450 for the digital. I mean, people were speculating. I think Tom Henderson was speculating that the PS5 Pro would be $500.
Yeah.
Like, they were going to price it very aggressively. But I mean, if your base console is 500,
Yeah, definitely not happening.
you're not
Definitely
pricing
not
your
happening.
Pro at 500. So
That's just gonna be 600 or 650.
yeah, so you would imagine probably exactly like 600 or 650. And it's like at that price point, I I I look at Xbox and I'm like, I kind of get why you're not making a pro console.
Yeah.
I kind of understand it because like 500 for the longest time has been like, I mean, you know, PS3 kind of broke that barrier when it launched, where like 500 was like the top. Like
Mhm.
that's where people maxed out at. And
Yeah.
if you're gonna start asking people, it doesn't matter how good your hardware is. If you're gonna start asking people $600, then I mean, I feel like you're going to lose. Like you're gonna lose out on sales at that price point.
Yeah.
Mm.
At that point, it'd just be a premium product that's just for a niche crowd.
Yeah, like a
You
very
know.
niche crowd, and
Yeah.
if that's fine, if that's the case, and if
Mhm.
that's what they prepared for, how for it to sell like, then I guess more power to them. But it's just one of those things. Like most people playing on a console, like if I feel like if you're spending $600 for or six or God forbid 650 for a pro console, me personally, and I know I'm not speaking for everybody because I know there's people who prefer the console. I would, and I do too. But at that point, I'd say just save the other $400 and spend 1,000 on a PC. And of course,
Mhm.
there will be some people who say, "But I prefer a console," and that's
Mhm.
why consoles will always be around because there are
Mhm.
always people who prefer that experience.
Yeah,
But it's
100%.
just the more you drive up that price to that closer and closer to that $1,000 mark, it's just like,
Yeah, I feel like some people are definitely be like, I should probably just get a PC at this point. You know,
yeah,
'cause there definitely are some people that would rather probably just go that route. You know, and
yeah,
get a
dude.
PC.
I was listening to Xbox too, and they got a
Yeah.
super chat from somebody. I can't remember who,
Yeah.
but he was like, I pay whatever it was like $1,200 a year for a phone. I would have no problems, if Microsoft or PlayStation decided they want to release a pro console for $1,300 every gen.
Yeah,
And
fucking
I'm
right.
and I'm just and I'm just
That's
like, dude,
hilarious.
that's so not that's so not what's gonna happen. Like, at that point, you really should just be like, dude, you could
Building.
buy a PC and build it like a console. You
Yeah.
just fucking use the Steam OS, honestly, if
Yeah,
you
my,
wanted
my
to.
my brother was thinking of doing that, was making like his own Steam machine where he has like, it's like the Steam OS. You turn it on, it's like a console basically. You know, he was thinking of like building a computer like that.
Hey, Twan, speaking of building a computer, bud.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's right.
One
But
day, when I hit the
but
brick
yeah,
wall. You know.
I just had that thought of like the PS5 Pro. Like, I guess I'll ask you guys, what do you think the price of the PS5 Pro is, if that ends up existing, which it seems like it
I mean, at
does.
this rate, I guess it'd be $600 if this current one is $500. Like, I doubt it'd just be $50 and be, oh, look, we got all this extra shit. It had to be like an extra $100 minimum, in my opinion. You know, so I don't know, that's what I think personally. It's like $600, 650. I think is kind of pushing it personally, but
I would agree with
yeah,
that.
I'm gonna stick with $600 if it does happen, because then apparently it's supposed to happen next year if it does happen. So, I mean, I don't know, like, so
Yeah. What about you, him? What do you think?
I don't know. I sure think they're asking a lot uh, because, as I said before, uh, what what real benefits can they put into this possible pro console that
yeah,
isn't in the current consoles? And I mean, like I said, I'd be real interested in it if they said, "Hey, you got a PS3 disc, you can throw it in.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
You you got a PS2, PS1 game, you can throw it in." To me, that would be pro as fuck.
Yeah, it
That'd
would
be
Yeah.
be.
pro as fuck. I would love that. I would love to champion something like that and just be like, hey, they listen to the people. Finally, finally, they listen to the people. But see, I don't know if they'll do that. I feel like what the pro's going to be is just um, pretty much just premium price everything that's compatible with other premium items, and I'm worried about that. I'm really worried about that because I just don't know what that even means. But I'm having a hard time finding why a pro console would be really necessary or how beneficial it'd be to purchase one. And then on top of it, I'm thinking just like it's cool that you're making a pro console, but what am I playing on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna put out a pro console and then tell me that you got 5 new live service games? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and that's a thing too. It's just like you're gonna make this pro, and what is Spider-Man gonna be able to do now that he can? What's Kratos gonna be able to do now that he can't do? You already have the DualSense controller.
Yeah.
Like, how is that gonna? It's already a 60 FPS game.
Yeah.
Was it gonna be 120 now?
Spider-Man has ray tracing in all 3 modes.
Yeah.
So
There it is.
I don't know.
4K 60 FPS ray tracing. Boom. There it is. But then again, not every game.
Or how you can make it. How you can make it worth more than it is now, and still have all the exact same gimmicks that you had on the box beforehand. Because don't forget, you already put 8K 120 on this.
They can't put 8K again, you know.
I mean, they sure can, but like, what is it? What doesn't mean anything?
Yeah, it's just saying something that doesn't mean anything, really. That's all it really is.
Yeah. Also,
is there going to be a card reader on the console?
Sure, why not? Yeah. The thing is, like, PlayStation doesn't need hardware; they need software. That's what they need. You know.
Yeah.
Just, like,
I also think of like, then are pro consoles necessary? Because there's like you can whiplash back and forth with that. Where like 1 minute, yeah, it's absolutely not. Like for example, perfect example. Star Wars Jedi Survivor launches, you're like, wow, we really need pro consoles because look at this shit. A few months later, it's completely fixed, runs perfect, nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
The game just wasn't optimized.
I guess it just wasn't optimized. So adding a pro console to the equation, I don't think it fixes the problem that a lot of people thinks it'll fix.
Just promotes laser development, I guess. I don't know.
Like, I don't want to say that, but like it just allows you cushion to hide imperfections.
Yeah.
Which is just like, what are you now going to optimize properly? You couldn't optimize properly for the PS5, the Series X, like, and I get why Xbox doesn't do it because they have the Series S. Like, you couldn't optimize properly for the PS5 and Series X. Now you're going to optimize for the Series X, the Series S, the PS5, and the PS5 Pro.
It's going to be a nightmare.
You're going to do that? So it's like,
it's just a band-aid for a much larger issue. I mean, and it's only, once again, a temporary fix that you're just going to get to. And I think a lot of people, the unfortunate kind of thing is they kind of deep inside know that it is a temporary fix, and they don't care. But like I'm not gonna. There's no reason for me to get a pro console unless, like Ham said, like just backwards compatibility.
Oh yeah, if I was able to play PS3, PS2, and PS1 games natively on this thing, I'd buy 100%. Yeah, like no questions asked. It's already sold.
Yeah, that'd be like first in line there.
Yeah.
Yep. But I don't see that being the case. I mean, hey, I hope I'm wrong. If that's the case, then that's awesome.
It's definitely not going to be the case.
And I would love to get one.
But it really should be, because as much...
It should be, yeah, sure.
As much as they can kind of like yank, IP back for them, or just better yet, use the stuff that they currently own and just say, hey, this is in the store now for sale all over again. You want Siphon Filter and you want to be able to download it natively? I mean, I know you can already, but here you go. You want, whatever. You want to, you want Resistance. You want to be able to download it natively. You can sure you can go to the game store or whatever and see if they got it, or you can just not get up off your couch and just buy it right here.
Exactly, and that's the whole other part. It's like it adds a whole nother piece of like revenue for them because, I mean, shit, those games are old as shit. Don't cost them a fucking thing to put that in their service. Meanwhile, they can charge you $20 a pop if they want. I'll buy it. I don't care. It's I don't know why it wouldn't be there, but I fully expect it to not be there, and that's unfortunate. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's there, because like Ham said, we should be expecting that. That should be an expectation. But I mean, we'll see. But yeah,
do I think PlayStation really needs to do?
What's up?
Instead of us waiting, a year for one AAA first party, Sony game, why don't they release smaller games throughout the year? Like have a $40 game, a $50 game. And guess what? Maybe since it's not full price, maybe they could release them day one on their service as well.
You
like,
mean,
for example, throw an Ape Escape 4 or something, for
you
like
mean
$50.
you mean like games as a service or something like that?
Not even as a games as a service, just smaller 10-hour games, maybe 15-hour games, just they're
Talking
not
about a
$70
Hi-Fi
games.
Rush.
Yeah, like a AA game, like a Hi-Fi Rush, but for Sony.
The thing
Throw some of them out there, Just
thing is for Sony, I don't think that they're not interested in that because Hi-Fi Rush is as successful as it is, and it's like very successful, especially for Tango GameWorks.
yeah.
So like that doesn't bring in the money that fucking Last of Us 3 is going to bring in.
But at the same time, let's say a smaller budget game like that, they could throw that day one on their PlayStation service as well, like PlayStation Plus Premium, if they don't want to put their $70 games on there,
Sure, but that also takes away from development for their bigger games, and then they're also putting that game into their service, which they don't like doing anyway because according to them, they don't have the financial stability to do that. So like they're taking away developers to build this smaller Hi-Fi Rush like game instead of building Last of Us Part 3, Uncharted 5, whatever the fuck, Ghost of Tsushima 2, like whatever the fuck. Instead of doing that, they're building the smaller game, and now they're throwing that game into the service. They're as far as they're concerned, that's just losing money. That's
if
like
people subscribe, I don't know, like maybe they're getting more, I guess.
I would agree, but it's just I don't feel like Sony
believes in that.
Because if they did, then they would have done something like that.
Yeah, I just want Ape Escape 4, man. That's all I want.
Dude, I feel like those days are gone. I feel like for PlayStation, unless something drastic happens, which could, something drastic.
I mean, Jim Ryan did leave after all,
Sure, and we'll see whoever gets in there next. But it's like, unless something drastic happens, I don't see that coming back. I don't think we.
There was somebody that said that they heard that that PlayStation is trying to go more back to PlayStation Underground days.
If that's the case, then I'm fucking all for it. I can't wait for
right.
that. Because PlayStation Underground was the shit. But like, it's one of those things. I have to see it. I have to have some sort of like reason to hope. And getting Jim out of there is like it's the first thing in a long. It's the first step in a long line of things that need to be done. But it's like I have to see the second step, the third step, like I have to see all that, and I don't right now, and I think it's gonna take some time before we get there. But like as it stands, I don't see PlayStation like just taking away development from all those big games that do make them stupid amounts of money to take risks on smaller things that may or may not make them stupid amounts of money.
But I mean, I don't know. It
Here's
adds to like. I feel like sorry, go Ham.
here's kind of something that I just wanted to throw in right quick. And some people, I know a lot of people make fun of like Xbox fans for like having this sentiment or thought process at all, but I think it's kind of glaring at this point where I feel like PlayStation is prioritizing sophistication over fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with
And
that. Explain it. Explain yourself, because I think I know what you mean.
so, by what I mean is, they are only willing to go for the high dollar, high auction item
Mm-hmm.
to make them their bang for their buck instead
Yeah.
of relying on what made
Smaller
them
and creative things.
popular in the first place.
Yeah.
In my opinion, what made them so popular in the first place is that they just had an overabundance of fun games. Some games were deep, but some weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Some were really surface level. Some were just absolutely. I mean, you just look at PlayStation's evolution in the last 4 consoles that they made. So, or actually, let's just say all of the consoles that they made. The PlayStation 1, it was a third-party maniac, as well as the
Mhm.
2. They touched upon a lot of different genres in game.
Mm-hmm.
As PlayStation continued with the 3, sure, they still had some really good deep hits, but the amount of genres that they hit dwindled.
Mm-hmm.
That they hit personal. As you went into the PS4 generation, that's when I feel like they changed for a good, which they got more sophisticated with a lot of their games. And they kind of did that at the tail end of the PS3 generation going into the 4. They started to get much more sophisticated with their games like Last of Us, Uncharted. I'd even say like Killzone, Resistance, and
Yeah.
and then once the PS4 came out, then they got even further sophisticated with like Last of Us Part 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and then now they put themselves, they kind of pigeonholed themselves in this sophistication zone to where they're no different than what Xbox was trying to do when they tried to get sophisticated. To where now, or like back in the Xbox One generation, everyone said Halo, Gears, and Forza. Well, now it's the exact same thing for PlayStation. It's God of War, Horizon, and
Last of Us.
And Last of Us.
Yeah.
Sure, you might be able to throw Ratchet and Clank and GT7 in there as well. Sure, they got 2 more things that they got on repeat over there, but they got them. They got them so heavily repeated that we don't even know what PlayStation is or has, or like we don't really feel like they're gonna catch us with something just insane. Like I don't see them coming out with like sure, you can say, oh, Bethesda's that was Starfield was Bethesda's, and Call of Duty was Activision's or whatnot, and Ninja Theory they already had what is it called, Hellblade.
Yeah.
But I don't see PlayStation's Avowed. I don't see PlayStation's Hi-Fi Rush.
Yep. Nope.
I don't see PlayStation South of Midnight. I don't see anything from PlayStation that says, hey, we're doing this other stuff, but we're also doing something and this is pretty much the tea of it, new IPs. We're not really doing anything you haven't heard of before. We're just capitalizing on what you heard of from us already. And Jim Ryan actually came out and said that a while ago. He said that we're going to be double downing on our current IPs.
Mhm.
What we didn't hear him say is we're going to be completely ignoring new IP. And that's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed that point there of sophistication. Where I feel like, and I feel like this is a problem with like at PlayStation, but within the industry as well.
Oh,
Mhm.
Just as
I
a
100% agree.
just as a fan watching and playing, it's like we had a conversation on probably on the show like months ago about how games were rated. Even when Starfield came out, we had a conversation about how games were rated.
Mhm.
I feel like now, like games aren't rated entire. It's very rare that a game is rated entirely for being fun.
Mhm.
There has to be some level of like self importance
Yep.
to a game for it to be quote unquote critically acclaimed.
Mhm.
And PlayStation, like I said, along with a lot of the industry now, is leaning more towards that self important games that just like whenever you play them, it makes you feel like you did a good thing. Or it's not very it's not always you can't always make that game fun. Like
100%. Yeah.
I would say like Last of Us Part 2 is a phenomenal example of this. I love Last of Us Part 2. I think the story, I think the writing, I think the characters, I think all of it is amazing. And I think the gameplay as well is fantastic. But the the level of like just how oppressive that story feels, how just incredibly depressing that story is, that's the kind of game reviewers are looking for. That's the kind of game, fuck the reviewers, the audience is looking for right now.
Mhm.
Where it's just like I'm looking right now on our stream, I'm playing Prototype in this clip here. It's like, I look at a game like that, it's like there was really no level of importance to that game. It was
Just,
a game that
just
was built entirely to be fun.
yeah, just fun video game.
Yeah.
It's a
And
video gamey ass game. That's what it is. You know?
exactly. And that was
Yeah, it was just, hey,
great.
go fuck shit up. Go
Yeah.
fuck shit up.
And that was great. And
Yeah.
that's why people like that game. I look back at the Infamous games; it was kind of the same thing, although there was more of an emphasis on you can be good or you can be
Yeah.
bad. Whereas Prototype, they really want you to just be an asshole.
Yeah.
Um,
You're a villain. You're straight up
yeah,
villain in that
they
game.
really want you to just be
See that
a
thing,
complete villain.
go
Yeah.
throw it.
It's like you need
Ex-
help. Eat this person. You know. It's like,
Exactly. Like, did you walk down the? I noticed I was playing Prototype earlier. You walked. Your animation for just walking on the sidewalk is just shoving motherfuckers out of your way.
Yeah.
That's your animation for walking down the
Just the
sidewalk.
default. Yeah.
Exactly. And like a game like that just doesn't seem, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like we're moving towards that as an industry, and that's
No,
why
God, no. We're moving away from that. If anything.
exactly we're
Yeah.
doing the exact opposite, and that's why I enjoy Xbox so much, because like nobody expected Hi-Fi Rush.
Nope.
Like there was no mention of Hi-Fi Rush. It didn't get leaked at all. It just
Mhm.
happened. It
It
shadow
just
dropped,
happened. Yeah.
and we got it. And it's a huge success. And it's because Microsoft saw that pitch. They said, "Hey, this is a game we're working on." Probably when they acquired them, they said, "Hey, this is a game we've been working on. Can we continue working on this and make it good?" Microsoft saw that and said, "Absolutely."
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think, and like I said, it's not just Sony. I think the whole industry. You show that to a lot of other publishers, they're like, "No,
This is too risky. You know. It's too
yeah,
much.
this like, what's the guarantee?" Because first of all, it's not attached to an IP.
Yeah.
It's not like a guaranteed IP that's going to make money whether it sucks or whether it's amazing. So that's a risk right there.
Yeah.
It's a brand new IP, and it's a rhythm based combat game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's all the things that could possibly be risky, And that's why that's why I enjoy Microsoft so much, because they see that and they say, you know what,
Fuck it. Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
And
If it
then
fails, it fails. You know.
exactly, and the reason they can do that is because of Game Pass.
Yep.
That's the entire reason they can do it. Also, I mean, let's be real. It helps that Microsoft is $1 trillion company. They can afford a
we
loss
get
every
bankrupt,
now
we
and
could do
then.
whatever we want. You know,
Yeah.
they get bankrupt. Fuck
They-
it. You know, we
They can afford to have a stinker
Yeah.
every now and then.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
that's why I get so I don't know, I want to say pissy, but I don't think it's the right word, about like where Sony's at right now, because it's like, I love the PS3 generation. I thought they had the balance of what they're doing now with what they did during the PS2 generation, and it all blended perfectly. But when the PS4 came along, to the PS5 now especially, they just do the one thing. They do the one thing, and that's what they do, and there's no deviation from it, and it just kind of stinks. And then you see the whole industry following along with it, and it's just a bummer.
Yeah.
It's just a bummer. But yeah, I went on a little bit of a rant there. So and it's 10:30 my time. We're actually 30 minutes over the time limit for
Yeah, we
this.
should probably wrap this up soon.
Yeah. So
we're just talking about PlayStation.
we
talking
talked about ABK. We talked about
Yeah.
PlayStation. We talked more about PlayStation than I honestly
Honestly.
thought.
Looking at it's Bill's fault.
Right, Bill brought up that question, and I really wanted to go off on that, and I'm glad we did. But yeah, anybody else have anything to add for the show before we get into the outros?
I had something to say, but I forgot it, so fuck it.
That's fine. Just build
Yeah.
a PC, Twan. But let's get into the outros. Twan, get us
I need
started
food.
I mean, I honestly need a snack myself, honestly.
100%.
So
I haven't eaten a meal in 11 hours now.
I haven't eaten a meal in 11 hours and 1 minute. So
Nah, I don't give a
let's get out of here. Twan, get us started.
All right, so you can find me on the show every Sunday. You can find me on Twitter/X at itsmetwan, and that's it for now. Mike, you are up.
You can find me here every Sunday with you guys.
And
That is fine. That's all. That's where you can find me.
Twitter,
I guess his Twitter was on and off. I guess.
His YouTube account where he makes copious amounts of videos.
I make 7 videos a day, like
he has like 2 million subscribers. You know.
He does have 2 million. Mike is actually PewDiePie. Which most people don't know, but I do know.
Yeah.
Ham, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me here or my channel, TSWS Gaming. Getting close to 1,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
Check us out over there. And then you can find me on Twitter or Zitter or whatever you want to call it.
Zitter.
At Ham Solo 05 Gaming.
Sounds good. As for myself, you can find me here every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Twitter at MattLikesGames, and then on YouTube on my channel, my personal channel, Matt Likes Games. You can do. I'm gonna make the videos. I do videos over there Monday and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Those release, and then on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, I do a show with Ham Solo called the Two Player Podcast. So check that out as well. I'm on Ham and Loke Show, with Ham, Loke, Cozy Beluga, myself, and we do a show called Bullsitting over there on his channel. So check that out on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern my time. 4 p.m. my time. Yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern. And with that being said, that's everything. We can get up out of here. We will see you all next week. Thank you for watching. See you.
Bye.